It's the Cardinals on WB11. Starter by committee this afternoon. That means Luther Hackman makes the start, his first ever as a St. Louis Cardinal. Close to a capacity crowd for the Dodgers and the Cardinals. Game 4 of this 4-game set. With Rich Gould, Al Rabowski, my name is Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball here on WB11. First half of the season winds down this afternoon, Al, with all the different things that have gone on with this team. The Cardinals sit a game up in front in the Central Division. With all that being said, all the negative things that have happened, things have gone fairly well.
Well, they have, but I mean, there's a lot of reasons to be concerned. There's going to be a lot of things that need to happen, and kind of reversal of what's happened the last couple of days if the Cardinals are going to win. But I guess when you really look at it, a year ago at this time, we felt like we were playing for 2002, didn't have a chance in the second half. They turned it around, and we hope the same happens this year.
Let's take a look at what you're talking about. This time last season, the Cardinals, as far as the National League Central Division, were not in the race, really. They were 8 games out. The Astros were 3 back. And lo and behold, Don Baylor at the time and the Chicago Cubs were 51-35, and they looked to really have a strong hold on the Central, but things very much changed. Now today, a year later, the Cardinals are up on Cincinnati. The Redbirds are only, though, 8 games above the 500 mark, and like you said, so many things going on right now with this team. Walt Jocketty, because of the death of Darryl Kyle, trying to find a starter. Woody Williams, we don't know the exact extent of his injury, so a lot of negative things going on with this team right now.
Yeah, we probably need to find 2 starters instead of just 1, even if Woody Williams does come back. But this ball club really desperately needs these 4 days off. They'll enjoy it and come back, recharge batteries. But, you know, they're going to have to put the death of Darryl Kyle aside. I know that's very difficult, and it's not an easy task, but you got to use it as a motivation instead of having it something that keeps on pulling you down.
Well, we mentioned the name of Rich Gould. We'll take a timeout. We'll check in with Rich when we come back. This is Cardinals baseball on WB11. Rich Gould is up next. Another hot day here at Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis. The fair going on here on the arch grounds of St. Louis, and of course Cardinal baseball this afternoon. Rich Gould is on the field with a special guest. Rich.
Thanks, Dan. Another blistering day. There are more than one ways to cover baseball. The folks will be watching, of course, today on WB11. They also see many still pictures, and that's Scott Rovak's job. Scott, you've been shooting down here a long time.
Yeah, my first game as an assistant was in '83. Few years, and then off a few years, and back around 89, 90 full-time pretty much, and covering all the games, every home game, a couple road trips, so it's a blast.
Really has changed too, hasn't it, with different cameras, different digital things that you use now?
It's amazing because starting with film, and you go home, process your film, or you process it upstairs in a dark room and scan it and put it out on the wire, and nowadays with digital we have laptops in the photo pits with us. You know, pull a card out of a camera and throw it in the laptop, pick your image you want, and send it off, and 2 minutes after a play's happened, it's on the wire, available across the country, really across the world as far as the World Wide Web goes. So.
And for the folks watching at home, where will they see your pictures?
Most of my stuff's on the Cardinals website, stlcardinals.com. I shoot for Wire Services, the Cardinals magazine, in-house publications, you know, to get different calls from different clients.
And the players all know you. You are as close to the action as anyone, and we're going to visit you a little bit later down in one of your camera wells.
Yeah, the other night I almost got beamed by a ball. And all of a sudden you hear people yell ball, you duck, and you hope it doesn't hit you. I got hit last year in the head. This year just got it in the finger, but it's, you know, it's dangerous. You're looking at the outfielder watching the pitcher, and all of a sudden the lefty pulls one down the line. Just duck and hope.
Yeah, you're here every game. All-Star break's going to be good for you too, isn't it?
Well, I'm going to do the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby for Wire Service, so that'll be kind of fun. It's a neat thing to be at, and then take a little vacation after that.
We all know Scotty down here, Dan. He does a great job, doesn't he?
He certainly does. Thank you very much, Rich. Dodgers and Cardinals coming up. Luther Hackman, Omar Dowell, the starters this afternoon. Cardinal baseball comes your way next. Cardinals baseball on WB11 is brought to you by Michelob Light. For a smooth, satisfying taste, it won't find you any other light beer. It's Michelob Light. It makes any occasion seem so simple. By your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on WB11. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Center, St. Louis's #1 choice for tires and automotive service. And by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. It is a hot day here in St. Louis as the Cardinals wrap up this long homestand. That's a look at Jim Tracy. He is the manager for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Has done a fine job in his second season, Al, and they've made some changes with this lineup, and most of those changes have really paid off. Let's take a look at his lineup. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Roberts, LaDuca, all-star catcher. Sean Green, all-star right fielder. Longtime first baseman Eric Karros, then Hansen, great pinch hitter for the Dodgers. Grissom, Rudzalanek, former Expo, is Turris, the shortstop, and Omar Dahl is the pitcher. Very good hitting pitcher, by the way. Here's a look at the Cardinals defense. A little different look for St. Louis today. Pujols, Polanco on the right side of the infield. Then you've got Mike Coolball. He'll make a start at third base for St. Louis. Edgar Renteria's at short. If you notice, it's an all right-handed lineup against this lefty Dow. It'll be Cairo in left, Eli Marrero in center. In right field, Eduardo Perez will get a start this afternoon. Behind the plate, it'll be Mike DeFelice, normally the personal catcher for Matt Morris, and on the mound making his first start ever as a Cardinal is Luther Hackman, his fourth start in the majors overall.
He's a 12th starter used by the Cardinals this season. And see the record that Luther has in his 23 appearances out of the bullpen. But a bullpen by committee today. He will go maybe maximum 50 to 60 pitches, and they'll kind of wait and see if he's laboring. So Tony La Russa really not sure. He has gone as many as 4 innings this season. That was against Chicago in a relief capacity.
So Tony La Russa elected after yesterday's loss, Al, not to go with Bud Smith. So not much confidence shown right now with Bud Smith. He just has not turned the corner and gotten back to the spot that he was at the end of last season.
Well, these Dodgers also have one of the best records against left-handed pitching. And so I think that was part of it, and why it's been a disappointing sophomore season for Bud Smith. Why complicate it here the last game before the All-Star break?
So David Roberts will lead things off, the center fielder for the Dodgers at 111 here in downtown St. Louis. Glad you're with us. And the first pitch from Luther is a strike. Roberts, Paul LeDuc, and Sean Green here in the Dodgers half of the first.
Dan, this guy reminds me a little bit about Brett Butler. You know, the ability to bunt, speed is a big part of his game, plays center field.
Speedy outfielder, has a lifetime batting mark coming into this season of .295 with 37 home runs. He was part of a 3-player trade with Cleveland back in December.
You really don't know the guys that they gave up, and here this guy has been virtually a 300 hitter in the big leagues.
95 degrees here in downtown St. Louis, and that pitch is fouled into the seats. Long homestand concludes this afternoon, a 13-game homestand, longest of this 2002 campaign.
And the ball club is 6-6 in the first 12 games of this 13-game homestand. I think everybody thought they were going to make a lot of progress, but it hasn't been, and playing in this heat virtually every day has taken a toll.
Roberts, little bouncer. One out. We're working on our score box that you normally see at the top portion of your screen.
Talking about the heat taking a toll on the players. Normally, it's a great advantage for the Cardinals, particularly playing the West Coast teams. But the Dodgers have won 2 of the first 3 games, and not only has it been bad on the players, this field looks terrible. And just the last couple days, the outfield grass is just looks like it's being burnt to bits.
And one of the things that the staff here in St. Louis is going to do is Paul LeDuc steps in and takes a ball, is that they will tear up that outfield grass during the All-Star break, and it'll look much better when we come back home. There's 2 different grasses that are growing right now, and they're kind of fighting each other. And one of the problems that the staff here in St. Louis has is that when you begin the season, temperatures are in that 70 to 80 mark, and then all of a sudden they jump up to 95, 100, and that's where we're at today. It's 95. So 2 different grasses to combat 2 different altitudes and temperatures and everything else.
The winter rye and the summer bluegrass.
Right.
But you know, you even look at the infield, and they replaced the infield the last time the Cardinals were on the road. It doesn't look much better, and it has had terrible playing conditions, a lot of bad hops, and even in the dirt they've had bad hops ever since they replaced the infield.
LeDuc is hit by the pitch. That looked like it caught his elbow. He's got a little gear there on that left elbow, if indeed it caught him there. So he'll take first base with one out.
Well, Maduka has just been on fire. He is on this road trip, has hit .438. He's had 9 multi-hit games his last 12 games, and currently batting .465. But right in there, and like you said, right on the padding at the elbow. So I'm sure it still stings a bit, but not as bad as it would without that padding.
This guy may be the best hitter right now in the major leagues, and that is Shawn Green. And he looks at a 92-mile-an-hour fastball low and in. Shawn Green hitting .276 with 26 home runs and 67 RBIs. Two and 0.
We talked about how hot Shawn Green has been of late. Set a couple records. Major league mark with 7 home runs in 3 consecutive games, May 23rd through the 5th. Then 9 homers in a week, Sunday to Saturday, May 19th through 25th, to set a National League record. And remember, he was 14th player in Major League history to hit 4 homers in a game.
Shawn Green is an all-star heading to Milwaukee, and in many ways that's where everything kind of started going in the right direction for Shawn Green. It was against the Brewers, that 4-homer game.
It was a 16-3 victory at Milwaukee on May 23rd. He was 6 for 6, including those 4 home runs.
On 3-0, he takes a ball, and it's first and second, just 1 out. Let's take a look at Shawn Green and flash back earlier this season. The home runs for Green, 4 in 1 game. And remember, Al, he started the season prior to this game very slowly. I mean, he had been really not a very productive hitter for them, but that one got him going. And instead of maybe the Mark Whitten syndrome, he got better and better.
He had only 3 home runs in the month of April, and his swing had gotten long. Mechanically, he was doing some things incorrectly, and they tightened it up, and he's been on fire.
Here's Eric Karras. By his standards, had a terrible year last year, and he's bounced back nicely. The home runs are down with just 9, but his average has gone up. So he sacrificed the home runs, and the average has gone up close to 300.
After a heart-to-heart talk with his manager about not trying to swing for the fences, but go to the opposite field.
You wonder if the back problems led to that as well.
Well, I'm sure that's probably part of it. You know, your back problem, you have a tendency to pull off of pitches. So defensively, pretty much straight away, deep in the outfield.
Right on that pitch and fouled it back. It's 1-2. In many ways, the Cardinals could be going for a sweep this afternoon. You think about yesterday's game. Friday night, they have the bases loaded and nobody out, and a contact hitter in Polanco at the plate.
Absolutely. I mean, there have been 3 excellent ball games, and disappointing from the Cardinals standpoint.
Carroll swung at a ball that helps out Hackman, and a strikeout for Luther. 2 down.
Just not a good at bat, and there's that ball right up in his eyes, and just a bad swing. And Eric Karras would be the first one to tell you that. You know, Brian Jordan, talking about playing in the heat yesterday, said you're almost delirious after the first couple at bats. You know, you're almost like you're up there and you're just guessing. Said it was the worst heat that he had experienced ever in St. Louis. Remember how well he played here.
He played on the turf too.
Can't tell me it was hotter than the turf, but sometimes you know, it might feel like it to you. Brian's been one of those great acquisitions for the Dodgers. Really helped them with their leadership and straightening out their clubhouse.
Dave Hansen looks at a strike, quickly 0-2. Very good pinch hitter. He picked up his 6th pinch hit of the season on Thursday night in the 8th inning to give him 106 in his Dodger career, and that ties him with the current coach Manny Mota for the franchise mark. 1-2.
Dave has the third most active pinch hits. Lenny Harris, John Vanderwall, and then Dave Hansen. 11 years now he's been in the big leagues. And I can still remember when he was like a rookie in some classic matchups with Lee Smith.
Coming on, it's Eli Marrero. He'll make the play. And the Dodgers strand a couple here in the top of the first. Good start for Luther. Good start for the Cardinals. They're coming up when we come back. Tony La Russa and the Cardinals start today. It came up in the National League Central Division. The Dodgers 2.5 in front out west in front of Arizona. Here's a look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Cairo to lead things off, followed by Polanco, Pujols, Perez, then Eli Marrero. He could have been the hero yesterday. If not, the Dodgers, though, came back. Renteria, Coolball, DeFelice, and Luther Heckman. Around the Horn is brought to you by Dobbs. A look at the Dodgers defense here today. Eric Karros on the right side at first base, along with Mark Rudzelanek, former Expos shortstop, now playing second for the Dodgers. Hansen is at short, or rather at third. Izturis is at short. To the outfield we go. Grissom in left. Former center fielder now in left. Roberts is in center. Sean Green is in right. And Paul LaDuca is behind the plate. Omar Dow is today's Chrysler Jeep starting pitcher for the LA Dodgers.
Well, finesse type pitcher, trying to improve his record to 8-3. Opponents only batting .209 against him. Lifetime against the Cardinals, he's 1-2 with an ERA of 5.21, 18 appearances. And he's throughout his 10-year major league career, he's one game under 500.
Omar Dow against Miguel Cairo, and a strike to Miguel.
What happened on this date on September 23rd of 2000? The last time the Cardinals started an all right-handed lineup.
They do not do well against these soft tossing lefties. They haven't, it seems like, in the entire history of this franchise. And Omar Dow will top out at best, Al, at around 85, but he's got a changeup, curveball. He'll mix in a slider every once in a while. I remember it was a couple of years ago, he almost lost 20 games.
And you really have to wait on him. You don't want to be hitting that on your front foot. Stay inside the ball.
Here's Polanco. This is Dahl's second stint with the Dodgers. By the way, their starting pitching has been very good. Lead the majors with 44 wins. Their starters do. Next best is Boston. They have 42. They have the top ERA in the major leagues, 3.42 for their starters. Two balls and a strike on Polanco.
Little this, little that, just changes speeds, works up and down both sides of the plate.
Albert Pujols on deck, 3 balls and a strike.
Polanco hits left-handed pitchers at a .313 clip.
Full count. Kind of odd that the Cardinals will have 4 days off during this All-Star break. There's the numbers against lefties and righties. Handful of teams around Major League Baseball will have that. Obviously, San Diego being one of them. There's a base hit for Polanco. The Cardinals, after the All-Star game, will open up on the West Coast against the Padres on Friday night. Red Hot Jim Edmonds graces the cover of the latest Cardinals Game Day magazine. Inside you'll find a full color poster of the Cardinals center fielder and Gold Glover. Call now 982-7336 for the Cardinals Game Day magazine. 4 days off, Al. Did you ever have that when you played?
I think it's the first time the Cardinals have ever had the luxury of 4 days off. And really, you know, as you think about it, most of the time you have really only 2 days off. Because, you know, either you're traveling on the third day or you're coming back here for a workout. So this is a opportunity where Tony, you know, will go to the West Coast tonight. So will Vina. Even Tino Martinez said he's going to take his family out to San Diego. trying to enjoy and relax a little bit out there and regroup. And I think this is exactly what the doctor ordered for this ball club. Hopefully, they can pick out a victory here today and then enjoy those 4 days off.
Lone representative will be Matt Morris at the All-Star game Tuesday night. Pujols breaks his bat. It flies back to the screen and picks up a base hit. Boy, you could hear that from up here clear as day.
Yeah, watch it. Big part of the bat goes all the way back to the screen. He's just got a sliver of it, the handle, left in his hands, but a solid single out to left. So back-to-back hits. And we need to get Perez to do something right here.
Here's our Ford Key matchup, and this is the team if Eduardo is going to do something against. This is the right team to do it against, a .341 hitter in his career. Lays off a strike from Dowell. First and second here in the first inning. No score. Back-to-back base hits by Polanco and Pujols. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Eduardo in his last 5 starts has hit .286, 4 for 14 with 4 RBIs. Can't get that average over the 150 mark, but
Eduardo jumps on this one. Deep left field. Goodbye, home run. 3-run home run for Perez.
very few hits. That's his 11th hit. He already had 3 game winners, and maybe this is a 4th. His 4th home run of the season. And as you mentioned, he likes the Dodgers. Not sure it was so much against Omar Dahl. They tried to get in on him. That ball's out over the plate, and Dahl doesn't throw it hard enough to throw it by anybody.
Eduardo knew it right off the bat, and it's 3-0 St. Louis. Cardinals have had some big leads as of late and have not been able to hold on. Eli goes the other way, deep right field. Green on the run on the track and makes the play. 2 outs.
Perez gives the Cardinals a 3-0 lead, but we want to add to it. There's the home run again. As he jumps on that pitch, it was supposed to be further inside. Got his arms extended. He knew it right away. And that's got to feel good.
So Perez, his 4th home run, RBIs 10, 11, and 12. Here's Renteria. With 2 outs and nobody on, Edgar hitting .278. 2-0.
I think that's important for all the bench guys to contribute right now, because I think not only was Walt Jocketty looking for pitching.
Edgar deep left field. Grissom back. Gone! 2nd home run in this inning. 4-0.
Cardinals been banging out a lot of home runs of late. They have just been murdering the ball. It's 19 home runs in their last 9 games. That's including today. So the 4th home run for Renteria. He is purposely not trying to hit home runs, trying to go the opposite way. But you can see he gets an off-speed pitch and jumps on it and hits it into their bullpen. We may see their bullpen fairly soon.
Here's Mike Coolball still searching for that first hit. Came up last weekend for St. Louis. Enjoyed a great spring. This lineup all right-handed against Dowell has jumped on him here in the first. Broken bat hit to short. This tourist will take his time and the Cardinals are done, but they jump out to the early lead. A 3-run home run by Perez, a solo shot by Renteria, and it's 4-0 St. Louis. Perez and Renteria have given the Cardinals a 4-0 lead as we move to the top of the 2nd. the 2 home run hitters. Hey, Cardinal fans, every Friday during the season there is Busch Bash at the ballpark. Come down early, win tickets for that night's game, and enjoy live music, barbecue, and a Busch or easy drinking Busch Light. There's Chris Pronger, the captain of the St. Louis Blues, enjoying Cardinals baseball. Let's check in with Rich Gould. Rich.
Well, Dan, happy to have Marty Meyer to talk a little bit not only about this Cardinals ball club, because he's seen so many of them as the ball has popped up out of play, but also about scouting in general. Marty, it seems to me that is really difficult when you're talking about 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. To project them to be a star in this league is tough.
Sure, Rich, it's tough. It's a tough business where you could be wrong 9 out of 10 times and you're really doing a good job. So most of the guys don't make it, but we try to find guys that have good ability. We really grade out their tools. What can they do? Can they run, throw, field, hit, or hit with power? And then we look at their size and strength and try to project how they're going to be 3 or 4 years down the road. It's hard.
What is the most important tool, or is there one?
Well, the makeup, I think, is one of the most important things that they have to have. You're looking inside a guy and trying to figure out who's going to work the hardest. Are they going to come dedicated and put in the time and effort that it's going to take for them to become a big league ball player? All these guys started out the same level as our guys in Johnson City and New Jersey, and they've worked through the system. They've got unbelievable talent, but they also wanted it real bad.
You going to get any time off during the All-Star break? If so, what are you going to do?
Well, I'd like to take a day off, maybe go out and play golf one day, but it's always I'm going to Johnson City on Wednesday and going to see those guys play, see the young guys that we just drafted, and try to see where they are right now and how they fit into our organization. We're always looking forward to it, though.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay.
Dan, back to you.
All right, Rich, thank you very much. Director of Amateur Scouting there, Marty Meyer. There's a base hit from Mark Grudzielanek. Up the middle, hitting just .245 on the season. 1-out base hit after the strikeout of Marquise Grissom. It's 4-0 St. Louis here in the second. Cesar Izturis, the shortstop for the Dodgers, will step in. Very slick fielder for L.A. Good piece of hitting there by Grudzielanek. Goes with the outside pitch up the middle. We mentioned some changes with this Dodgers team. Certainly with the shortstop being one. Bringing in Brian Jordan. Out Gary Sheffield. Sean Green has bounced back after a slow start. They weren't sure what they were going to do with Eric Karros after a really subpar season for him. Either they couldn't unload him or they thought he could bounce back, and he's done so. That's a shot under the glove of Albert Pujols and into right field. And Grudzielanek will move from first to third. And it brings in Omar Dowell.
The Cardinals do have that 4-0 lead, but you just don't know how long Luther Hackman's going to be out there. Luther got to be moving over first base in case Pujols made that play. He wouldn't have been there at the bag if Pujols gobbled that one up. He would have given up the base hit either way.
Last season, Omar Dowell hit .236. He can handle himself at the plate.
I was going to say he's 1 for 15 this year, but at 195 average, 1 home run, 18 RBIs tells you that he knows what he's doing a little bit.
He squares and takes a ball. 92 from Luther Hackman.
Luther has the ability, where he was a starter throughout the minor leagues, Colorado and the Cardinal organization. First Cardinal start. I was a little surprised that they didn't try this sooner.
For last season, it was Mike Matthews that got some of those starts.
Squeeze.
And it's popped back and out of play. So the squeeze was on, and now it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Grudzielanek back to third.
Now, Roberts, not the on-deck hitter, is not a real RBI man, so they try to bunt with their pitcher. See, kind of stabbing at the ball, and that's why it produced the pop-up. It's a squeeze play. You really don't have to make that perfect bunt. You just really have to get it down.
Dowell lines that in the seats. Watch out. And hopefully everybody's all right over that Dodger dugout in the seats. That was scorched.
That got somebody. Yeah, somebody in there just got it, and unfortunately, it looks like around the face area. So just a screamer off the bat. And hopefully, it was in the shoulder. Of course, Manny Mota knows about foul balls and going into the stands. He hit a young boy at Dodger Stadium in the 70s and got a medical attention and everything, but later on the boy died. And that really, Manny has stayed close to that family after that tragic incident.
On 1-2, Dow takes a ball. 2-2. Omar Dow came over from Philadelphia. They held an option on him for $4.5 million. They exercised that in November, then traded him away for a pair of minor league pitchers. And here he is pitching for the Dodgers with a mark of 7-3. Runner goes from first to second. Throw down to second. High throw. And safe is his tourist.
It's his 5th steal and being caught 6 times. So it was a high throw. Really didn't have much of a chance for Mike DeFelice. Ball up there, and you know, ideally you want that ball down a little bit, and then the high throw allows him to get underneath the tag.
3-2 on Omar Dow. With the pitch count getting up there, you might see that bullpen starting to at least get loose down there, Al.
Well, I don't think yet. I think they're still trying to get 4 out of it.
Ground ball hit to short. Play in front of him. Instead, he goes to first. And Renteria gets the out. There's 2 down. Probably could have got Izturis from second to third. After the run scored, it's 4-1.
And it's one of those, it's going to be a tag play. It really was not that good of a running option for the young shortstop to go to third base, but with 2 outs, Renteria said, you know, well, I'll get the sure out, the easy out. See, the ball's really still in front of him. He looked him out there, but it's got to be a tag play, and decided to go on to first.
Here's Roberts trying to bunt his way on. It's going to take a great play by Pujols, safe at the plate. And the lead is cut in half. Roberts the RBI, and it's 4-2.
That's why I told you that Roberts reminds me a little bit of Brett Butler. And that's a play that Butler had perfected, the bunt play, very well. And here they get an extra run out of it. I don't think Pujols had any other play.
I don't either.
You know, you see him here, bunts it. This guy can really run. Luther not quick off the line. You know, he's not going to get to first base and cover the guy there. And so the play in front of him was the only one that Pujols thought he had.
So some good base running then by the shortstop. Cesar Izturis turns into a run. Stolen base, then he moved up on the ground ball to short from second to third and scores on a 2-out bunt hit by the leadoff man, David Roberts.
A lot of times you've got to caution that this catcher's got to be alert to it. And I don't think Mike was totally anticipating that Pujols would go there, or think he had a much better opportunity to block home plate, seal it off from a young middle infielder. Another indication, he never took that mask off.
And a check on Roberts at first.
But I mean, I give Pujols a lot of credit on that play. That his mind was in the game and thought that that was his best approach, and it was. To get an out was at home, not at first.
Here's Paul LaDuca, catcher for the Dodgers. 6 for 10 in this series, including off the bench yesterday. He went 2 for 2.
I came off the bench and played first base. But this guy has turned himself into quite a hitter. Nobody really believed in him, even though he has hit 300 or better in 8 of his 9 professional seasons. But Jim Tracy said he's my catcher. And boy, it paid off last year with a big year.
Good pitch here by Hackman, 0-2. LaDuca Leads the National League in batting average during day games. He's hitting over 400.
Last year he hit 320, 25 home runs and 90 RBIs. Played in 125 games, and home runs are down, but
he's not shabby behind the plate at all either.
well, he's got a low center of gravity, you know,
Right.
so he's got to be able to give you a good target.
Also played a little bit of the outfield besides first base like we saw him in yesterday's game.
And so he's 350 average versus 324, 14 home run versus 5 home runs, and RBIs were pretty close to a year ago.
And the ball gets away from DeFelice. It was a swing and a miss, and LaDuca reaches. And it hit the umpire, then went back to the screen. And that'll bring up Sean Green with 2 outs and 2 on.
Right, going after another high fastball. There you see it go off the arm of the umpire, his right arm. That's got to hurt. And DeFelice took him a while to locate it, and then it hit on the back screen, maybe off one of those signs or something, carry him back quite a ways, and strike him out. But they call it a wild pass ball, I would assume.
Yeah. And instead of having Sean Green lead off the third, you have him come up now with 2 on. He goes the opposite way for a base hit. Runner being waved in, and it's 4-3. Roberts scores easily. Sean Green with the RBI, and that's RBI number 68, and it's 4-3.
Well, wasn't that a pretty piece of hitting?
Boy, perfect.
You don't always have to hit a home run to be effective, and Sean Green, who really hasn't done that much damage here. Ball out away from him, just slices the ball out there. This road trip, he was batting under 180. And so now Dave Duncan out to talk to Luther Hackman. Now they'll start getting the bullpen ready.
Last start, that was the bullpen by committee, was in Montreal, and Crudale made the start in that afternoon, and the Cardinals held him to 5 hits.
Let's go back to the strikeout of LaDuca and watch DeFelice. So he doesn't know where it is. It went off the umpire.
Eric Karros pops it up into shallow right. Eduardo Perez is there near the line and has it. Dodgers get 3 against Hackman. We played an inning and a half here at Busch, and it's 4-3 St. Louis. What's on Tap is brought to you by Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with the crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. Friday night. Back after the break on Fox Sports Net from San Diego will come your way at 8:30. Then Saturday and Sunday, both those games on the Cardinals television network and right here on WB11. What's on Tap brought to you by Budweiser. Mike DeFelice will lead it off, the number 8 man in the order for Tony La Russa. DeFelice. Luther Hackman has moved to the on-deck circle, so we may see Luther hit for himself or pinch hit, or nobody is throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. Then we have the top of the order.
You got to get as much as you can out of him.
You'd figure that Steve Klein, Isringhausen, and Beers would be pitchers not used in the middle innings. Klein would be using the setup along with Beers, Izzy obviously to close.
I think you definitely want to use Klein today, but and Isringhausen, Tony said he would use in only certain situations.
DeFelice drives it into center. Roberts backs up and has it.
But the fact that they've got a few of their guys on the bench, Beltre and Jordan, something like that, you know, you could see that this is the lefties, Bud Smith and Matthews, who gets a bulk of this game.
Luther looks at a strike with 1 out, nobody on. With the All-Star break in Walt Jocketty really working the phones, trying to pick up a pitcher or two. You probably won't hear of a deal made. It's pretty much commonplace that Major League Baseball does not want to announce any kind of trades because they don't want to take away the attention of the All-Star game itself and the players.
Right, so I would think the earliest would be Wednesday or Thursday if there's a deal to be consummated. But Walt is well on top of the game plan, and he's had people out scouring. You know, they had interest in Cologne for more than a month before people really had known about it.
Hackman lines out, 2 away.
You know, Jeff Weaver, he had some of his lieutenants scouring him, but you know, he went to the Yankees. There's that nice line drive that appeared to get by the shortstop, but Cesar gets over there and makes the play.
It's going to make it interesting too, Al, is that the Players Association will meet tomorrow in Chicago and possibly talk about a strike date. Hopefully that's not going to be the case, but
well, you know, I mean,
reality.
Let's just put it this way, and nobody should get totally upset if they do even make a strike date. You got to play the game. You know, you've got, if that's what you think is in your best interest, but it doesn't mean that there's going to be a strike.
Cairo, little looper into right, and Sean Green is there. So 1-2-3 inning for Omar Dow. We play 2 here at Busch Stadium. Coming up, Hansen, Grissom, and Grudzielanek for Los Angeles. We hope you stay with us on the WB at 6. It's back-to-back laps with 2 episodes of For Your Love, followed by Charmed and Angel. That's all tonight at 6 on WB 11. Good look at Mike Phillips. Tom Phillips, his father, helps us out up here in the booth and during the hockey season, and of course during baseball. So glad to see that his son was able to make it out to the ballpark today. Dave Hansen, Marquise Grissom, and Grudzielanek for the Dodgers. Here in the top of the 3rd, Cardinals lead it 4-3. A 3-run home run by Perez, a solo home run by Renteria. That was back in the 1st. The Dodgers picked up 3 in the 2nd. This will be pitch number 42 by Luther. A broken bat and a tough play and a single.
Nice effort by Renteria. He'll be going to Miami for the break. Spent a little time there. Just right off the end of the bat. Good piece of hitting. Didn't try to pull that ball and deep into the hole out on the outfield grass. And as we understand, that is not bluegrass, it's Bermuda that is starting to take hold. And grounds crew, is that looks like Luther is maybe through. Tony out there maybe to find out how he's feeling. He projected either, you know, 50 to 60 pitches, and he was going to wait and see how he felt, but I guess that's enough. 2+.
So Tony will make his first of many calls to the bullpen here at Busch Stadium. Done as Hackman pitches into the 3rd inning, allows 5 hits, and he gave up 3 runs. We'll see who makes their way out of the bullpen. We'll tell you about that when we come back. Well, this has been a nice homestand for Mike Crudale, the 6-foot right-hander. You're watching the Cardinals on WB 11, KPLR-TV St. Louis. Mike was recalled from Memphis AAA on Monday. At Memphis, he was 1-0. He had 7 saves and an ERA under 2 in 13 games. Then on Tuesday, he gained his first major league win with a scoreless 5th against San Diego. And he pitched yesterday against the Dodgers. 1 inning, no hits, no runs. And he struck out 2. So Crudale has been part of that very good bullpen, Al. And the Cardinals, one of the bright spots so far in this first half, as far as the pitching staff is concerned, is this bullpen. It's been very good.
Well, and this guy is really kind of came out of nowhere. What you like about him is very aggressive, not afraid out there, and he almost did a great Houdini act getting out of that bases loaded jam yesterday without them scoring. So I think Mike has really shown that he belongs up here. And
Gene Steckschulte was option 2, AAA. And Crudale was called up. He'll face Marquis Grissom, 1 for 4 in this series.
Now, you were talking about the Players Association meeting in Chicago, I think tomorrow.
Right.
We may not even have a representative that goes.
And Steckschulte was the player rep along with Matt Morris, but Morris had kind of been fed up with the situation, so he gave up those duties, and Steckschulte was to be the guy. Grissom lines it into right center field. Perez dives and can't make the play. Off his glove. The runners will move up to second and third.
He might have hurt his knee or groin there a little bit. He's like he's limping, but a great try right there. And you know Eli Marrero will be there to back up the play, so it was worth the gamble to dive for it. It's kind of really plugging the gap. He closes it and almost comes up with a miraculous play. So he came up that first step or two, he was limping, and there they go in second and third. Look at it, stretched full out, goes off the glove, and comes up limping ever so slightly.
Here's Grudzelanic. Good pitch there by Crudale. So a double by Grissom, who's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Hansen moved up from first to third, and it's second and third, nobody out, and a chance to tie or take the lead here for Mark Grudzelanic. Hackman, by the way, threw a total of 44 pitches. Crudale, the second pitcher used by Tony today. I was talking about the labor situation and how the uncertainty of what could transpire out maybe would tie Walt Jocketty's hands a bit.
Absolutely.
You just don't know.
Yeah, last thing you'd want to do is inherit a big contract and have a shutdown and lose players and then not really have
right.
Even if it's a rent-a-player type deal.
I think if you took on a guy like Al Leiter.
Right.
You know, that's a perfect example of what you're talking about.
There's a guy that I sure wouldn't mind picking up. Money pitcher, been in the postseason, knows how to pitch. He'd be a free agent at the end of the year, so you know you really are renting him for a couple months. Other names bandied about: Chuck Finley. Somebody even mentioned Darren Oliver, who apparently is, I think, was released by Boston. So you sign him for the minimum, prorated over the last couple months.
1-2 pitch is popped up. Pujols is there, and the runners have to stay, and that's a big out. That's number 1.
If you're a pitcher, you come in this situation, and you know you have nobody out, and got a couple guys in scoring position. You get that first out, then you start thinking like, okay, now I can see how I'm going to follow it up. Strike out, pop up, and if you can get the second out, in many cases you sit there and you go, and they're going to intentionally pass. Turris bring up the pitcher, Omar Dahl.
So the bases will be loaded for Dahl, who has an RBI today, his first time up when he grounded out to short and brought in Grudzelanic for the Dodgers' first run of the afternoon. So bases will be loaded after the intentional pass to the shortstop is Turris. And Jim Tracy, who was out of baseball for a while but now finds himself as the manager of the Dodgers, will have a good shot here to take the lead with Omar Dahl coming to the plate.
Don't be surprised if that guy's at the helm of the Dodgers a long time.
Pretty even keeled, even mannered, isn't he, guy?
And you talk to him, he's very positive. He's very complimentary of his players. He loves the game. He respects the game. Respects the opposition. Appreciates where he is and what it took to get to where he's at. And in many ways, you can see some similarities between he and Walter Alston. He only held the job for close to 50 years. I don't know what. I think Walter Alston, I'd have to check it up, but I think he had something like 35 one-year contracts.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How many years was Lasorda there?
Lasorda came in right after Alston and was there for 20 plus.
Yeah.
And then they've gone through about 5 or 6 in the next 5 or 6 years.
Jim Tracy was part of Davy Johnson's staff. He was a bench coach. And you mentioned how he gained the respect of the players, and you do that pretty quickly by not ripping them in the press, and he really took the pressure off of them with his level-headed commentary to the reporters in Los Angeles.
You know what he also did is he won the respect of them last year, handling the way he handled Sheffield, and it started in spring training. And Dan Evans, their general manager, I think understood what kind of player that Jim Tracy wanted on his team, and then he tried to do the best he could to accommodate and acquire those kind of guys. And now you see a team that's really coming together and playing good baseball and in first place.
2 balls and a strike on Omar Dowell. Fights it off and fouls it into the seats. 2-2.
Swing him around as if he was a right-handed batter.
Middle infield can play for the double play. Corners are in. Outfield is shallow. Here's a 2-2 with the bases loaded to Omar Dowell. Slaps that one foul and down into that corner near that left field line. Good play by Fan down there. We'll do it again.
You do not want to run the count full.
Leadoff man is on deck. That's David Roberts. Here's a 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Big strikeout there for Crudale. So it started out with second and third and nobody out. He got the pop out and out the strikeout of Omar Dowell. If you'd like to win Cardinals tickets and participate in the Southwest Airlines Family of the Game promotion during Cardinals home game, here's your chance. Send your name, address, and phone number to Southwest Airlines Family of the Game. P.O. Box 771192, St. Louis, Missouri 63177. And good luck from Southwest Airlines. Here's Dave Roberts, 1 for 2 on the day. 5 for 14 in this 4-game set. Bunted his way on last time. Bases loaded. Be something if Crudale can get out of this jam.
It wouldn't surprise me if he does. And as I said, once you get that first out, then you kind of see how you can get your wiggle room. Got the second out with the strikeout of Dahl. This is not an easy guy because of his speed.
1-1. Roberts today is grounded out to second to start the game, and then with 2 outs he bunted his way on and drove in a run back in the second.
Crudale was somewhat of an Steve Klein impersonation. At least
what
the
was
back.
that?
The back. Well, that's the rosin.
I know that, but
He's getting a rosin ball all loaded up.
I know what the rosin is. I just never seen a guy take it to the back of his head.
Because I'm thinking what he does is he might go, and you see him go there, though he may go to the back of his hat at times. And when and rosin is sort of like a drying agent, but it's a little sticky, and some guys can use it to their advantage. I've seen other guys use it and just bounce in their hand and get a lot of the powdery substance, throw a pitch, and actually the optical illusion of a powder puff. You know, you'll see it where a guy will release and all of a sudden this burst of powder comes up out of his release point and gets you at least a blink. There, I don't know what he was looking for. Fastball right there that snuck it by him for the second strike.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Does not want to go to a full count with the bases loaded to this leadoff man. But he does. And the runners will be off with the next pitch with 2 outs.
Well, and that also puts an awful lot of pressure on the defense. If you're a base runner, you got to make sure that the pitcher is going home, but then once you see him release the ball, you take off. Especially that guy at second base, Grissom, a veteran, he can call the pitch.
Runners go, the 3-2. Ooh, just foul by maybe just a foot or so.
That ball right there clears the bases
easily.
If that gets out into the corner.
Dodgers trying to take 3 of 4 from St. Louis. They lead the West by 2.5. Cardinals a game up on Cincinnati in the Central. Bases loaded. Cardinals up by a run here in the third. Now time is called. Roberts steps out. Crowd comes alive in the 3-2 pitch from Crudale. We'll do it again.
Roberts batting .299, and Crudale's forced to throw a strike. The pitch you have the most control with is your fastball. This guy looks like he's earlier in the count one time he was looking off speed, but he's been on the last couple fastballs.
Ripped into right field for a base hit. One run will score, the other one will come in easily, and the ball is cut off by Edgar Renteria. 2-run score, and the Dodgers have taken a 5-4 lead. An RBI for Dave Roberts, and he's got 3 already on the day.
Well, you know, that's why you always say you hate to get into a running count, and then after fouling off a few fastballs, he throws a third consecutive one there, and he had another good rip, a solid base hit. And because of the running count, easily that single scores 2.
Hansen and Grissom score, and it's 5-4 Dodgers. One of those runs goes against Luther Hackman, so you can close the book out on him. 2 innings, 4 runs, 5 hits, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. He also hit a man, and he threw 44 pitches. Inning started with Luther Hackman with a base hit off of Luther by Dave Hansen. Then Grissom picked up the double, a pop out of Grudzelanic. Tony La Russa walked intentionally the shortstop to load the bases for Dow, who struck out, and then the base hit there by Roberts. There's multi-hit games brought to you by Bank of America. There's Paul LaDuca, still a dangerous man at the plate right now. Lifetime .315 hitter in the minor leagues. You talked about all those years in the minors, Al, and now they're paying off here in the majors. He's 6 for 11 in this series. And he pops this one up into shallow right. Perez coming on, and he has it. We have played 2.5. The Dodgers have already left 6, but they lead it 5-4. Dollar More is the largest energy assistance program in the area, helping the needy pay their energy bills. To sign up for the Dollar More program, customers must check the box on their monthly bills, fill out a pledge card, or sign up on the Ameren website at ameren.com. Well, we've got some interesting news concerning the All-Star break and the All-Star game. We just found out that Matt Morris will not participate in the All-Star game. He will be there but will not participate. Tom Glavine has also taken himself out of that game, and replacing those two on the roster will be Vicente Padilla and Rob Nens. So Matt Morris, who has struggled out and plated some big leads and still has not been able to hold them the last couple of times out. Last Sunday, a 6-0 lead. The other night he had a 4 or 5-run lead, could not hold on. So Morris has taken himself out of the All-Star game, and that's a fair ball.
And it's a ground rule
Now, I don't think a fan got it.
Well, yeah, he did. I think he's saying the umpire is saying the fan did touch it, so he should go to second base. Okay, that's what he's saying. He's saying the fan touched it. Dave McKay's saying, well, he should go to second. If he did, he just slightly slowed it down a little bit. And Tony asked for, I guess it's a judgment call. If the umpire feels that he could have gotten to second base, he awards it, and if not.
See, I don't think he would have. And I was watching Polanco run. It was almost as if he was kind of slowing up, going around first base, and wasn't even going to attempt going for two.
I don't think he thought it was a fair ball coming out of the batter's box either.
I think that too, yeah.
You know, getting back to Matt Morris, I'm proud of Matt, and I think this is the right decision. I said that the other day after Friday night's game. I said, you know, I don't think he needs to pitch in that game.
He has not been the same Matt Morris that we have seen the last year and a half, the last
No.
couple of times out.
And mind wandering. I don't think it's anything physical, but he doesn't. His stuff hasn't been as good, but I think it's more mental. And I know how close he was with Darryl Kyle, but you know, you have to put this aside, and you've got to use his motivation.
1-2 on Albert Pujols. Albert today has singled and scored back in a big first inning for the Cardinals, in which they played at 4. There's so much talk that with the game being held in Milwaukee, but Seelig, of course, his ownership with the Brewers and his family, that many of the players would not go, but many of them have said they will play as a show of good faith.
Well, the money goes to the pension plan.
LaDuca holds on. Dallas first strikeout. Here's Perez. Back in the first, a 377-foot home run. That gave the Cardinals a 3-0 lead. Then Renteria would hit a home run to make it 4-0 on a solo shot. But the Dodgers have scored 5 and lead it 5-4. Eli Marrero on deck. First inning against Dahl, a rough start for him. First it was Perez. That drove in Polanco and Pujols after back-to-back base hits. Then with 2 outs, Renteria. A home run that got into the Dodger bullpen and made it 4-0. Two balls and a strike on Eduardo. This is down that right field line and slicing foul. McFan has been active in this inning. 2-2. Leaders at the halfway point, Dodgers and the Cardinals. And in the National League East, Atlanta leads Montreal by 8.5 games. Montreal is 6 games above 500, and apparently they have quite an interest in trying to acquire Cliff Floyd from Florida. It could be their final season. They're going to try to go for it. Picked up Cologne and now may give up some prospects to try to bring Cliff Floyd to Montreal.
I read something where Floyd said, hey, I'm not going there.
He had it on 6 teams that he would be traded to, and that was and then wasn't on his list.
And I think the Giants read where they're maybe pursuing Cliff Floyd. Remember, that's who the Yankees wanted. And then they got Mondesi.
They picked up Weaver the other night.
Yep.
That's popped up and out of play. And into the seats. Cardinals have an awful lot of road games coming up after the All-Star break, starting in San Diego.
That's when this field will replace the grass in the outfield, and really it'll get a good chance for the ground crew to do their excellent work, make it look great again.
Long way to go for Sean Green. He makes the play. There's 2 outs. So the schedule has a few quirks in it for St. Louis on the West Coast. Come back home for a couple, then go out east, then fly all the way back to the West Coast.
Sean Green running out here, and the grass kicking up through his cleats.
Here's Eli. He looks at a strike. 0 for 1 today, 4 for 12 in the series. Flied out his first time up.
Mike Matthews continues to throw in the Cardinals bullpen, so Crudale could be through. If somebody keeps score like us, the old-fashioned way.
What are you doing for your break?
Heading out to Santa Barbara for a couple days before going down to San Diego.
I can't remember the last time that we didn't do a game at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, we'll be remembering that one.
Yeah, not this year.
And we won't be doing it in the playoffs either.
That's right. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs. A check on Polanco, who's at first. Led the inning off with a base hit. Woody Williams will start, we hope, on Friday night. The extent of his injury that forced him out of the game yesterday is still unknown. Starting in his back, had some back spasms. They're hoping it's not a ribcage problem. And they're going to let the All-Star break kind of dictate what happens with Woody Williams. Take some time off. Be careful with it. Eli breaks his bat and pops it up. Turris is there. The shortstop puts it away, and the Cardinals strand a man. Sean Green will lead things off when we come back in the 4th. This portion of Cardinal baseball on WB11 is brought to you by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By your St. Louis area Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. And by Bank of America. We find financial solutions that fit you. The Cardinals will use their 3rd pitch of the afternoon, but before we get to that, let's check in with Rich Gould. Rich.
I tell you, Dan, it's a thrill to talk to one of America's most outstanding entertainers in a variety of ways, Lee Greenwood. Lee, you wrote how many songs? How many songs you penned?
Oh, hundreds. You know, I mean, the songs, they're not all famous, but I've had a chance to write for an awful lot of different artists, including myself.
And performed how many?
Thousands.
But you have an anthem that, especially on our nation's birthday, everybody wants to hear, sing, proud to be an American, and you performed that today, didn't you?
Yeah, we just gave one stanza of it, so we didn't sing the whole song. We will sing the whole song tonight at the fair at St. Louis. But I wrote it in 1983, and it was originally intended just for a welcome home for the Vietnam vets. I even wear an MIA bracelet, which I've had for 22 years, and I have great sympathy for the boys that weren't welcomed home properly. So that was my initiative, but during the Gulf War, it had more of a banner kind of a feeling, and after 9/11, it sort of was a healing token. So I'm proud to be serving all those purposes.
A dynamite song, and when you put it together with fireworks, that'll get your heart.
I think every show in America has it as the finale for fireworks, and I can't tell you how much more proud I become.
And tonight you will be downtown. You'll be on the riverfront. Will that be the only song you do, or you're doing a whole set?
No, we have a whole show. We just came in for Virginia, and this is our 6th show in a row during the 4th of July weekend.
The sixth show in a row here in St. Louis?
No, we started out in Louisiana,
All right.
and then we went to Corpus Christi, Texas, to Dallas, Albuquerque, Virginia, and then here.
And you've been here before?
Yes, about 15 years ago.
Okay. Lee Greenwood, folks, in the ballpark with his beautiful wife and kids today, guys.
Actually, I had a chance to meet Lee, and thank you, Rich, during the hockey season. Al, on the home opener, Lee was in St. Louis, and that was outstanding to see that played after the tragedy in September, obviously.
I think he really is a big baseball fan, too.
Oh, he is. I talked to him off mic, and he talked about the Cardinals and how he enjoyed this organization, and he said it had been about 10 to 15 years when I talked to him that he'd been here at the ballpark, and here he is today, and he'll be down on the riverfront later tonight. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Sean Green.
That song really does have so much more meaning today.
Full count on Green. Matthews is the third pitcher used by the Cardinals, following Hackman and Crudale. It's a bullpen by committee start. He's allowed just 4 earned runs in his last 22 games, span of 19 innings pitched and an ERA under 2. So Mike has done a good job and goes to a full count against Green. Strikes him out. That's how we start the 4th. A strikeout of Sean Green, who's 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI base hit.
Personally, I'd like to see more of Mike Matthews. There he gets one of the best hitters in the game and makes him look bad on a breaking ball. Got good stuff. Just has to project a more positive image for Tony.
Talked about Paul the Duke of paying his dues. Mike Matthews has done the same. Right out of high school, 8 seasons in the minor leagues with Cleveland, Boston, and now the Cardinals. He was part of the Kent Merker deal. But he was, as we talked about before, Al, kind of one of those bonus babies, a 2nd-round pick in 1992.
Yeah, he was. That was by Cleveland. And of course, he played several years with Steve Klein and the Cleveland organization. Against Sexton, John Casey, some of the different guys that have been there.
Giles, as Karros lines it into center, and Marrero has it for the 2nd out.
And Mike Matthews he's got 3+ pitches at the big league level: fastball, changeup, and breaking ball. I know there was a point in time when the Cardinals were losing all their starting pitchers that it didn't work out for Mike last year, but he was hoping he would get the chance this year to start.
Numbers were not as good last year as a starter for Mike. And if you look at his numbers against left-handers last season, he was tremendous.
Yeah, but I think too, Dan, it's part of the maturing factor. Maybe he wasn't ready last year, and you know, part of it has to do with the guy accepting the role, and you know, he kind of would like that role now. Not because, you know, more out of necessity rather than because he felt like he was one of the best 5.
Appeared in 65 games last year, and he quickly goes 0-2 on Hansen. He had 10 starts last year. His ERA as a starter was 5.13. As a reliever was just under 3. And lefties hit only 150 against him.
He's in Montreal when, remember, might have been going to the ballpark the day that Crudale started up in Montreal, and kind of had a heart-to-heart talk with him in a cab, and he understood where I was coming from about what he presents, and he says, I understand, I don't present that positive image that Dave Duncan wants, but he said, inside I know I can get the job done. And sometimes you can't, it's hard. You can't change somebody to be something they're not. But I think Mike too is, maturing, is engaged now. He married a girl from across the river. Lovely young lady whose residency is a anesthesiologist. So there's some smarts to go along with that beauty.
There you go. And Mike needs all the smarts he can get to help him along the way. Just kidding, Mike.
could have said he needs all the beauty he can get too.
Oh, now you're getting into some dangerous territory. 1-2 on Dave Hansen with Grissom on deck. He said it.
Said what?
About his beauty.
Oh, I was just commenting.
He started calling you Rich Gould.
You were trying to give him intelligence.
Good strikeout by Matthews. He catches Hansen. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Mike here in the top of the 4th. We'll move to the bottom half. Renteria, Kubal, and DeFelice coming up for St. Louis. On Sunday, July 28th, the Cardinals play the Cubs at Six Flags Senior Citizens Night at Busch Stadium. All fans with a paid admission receive a free senior citizens discount. That's a fair ball in that right field corner. Renteria will dig for 2. He's got a home run and a double today. And again, Six Flags Senior Citizen Day is coming up July 28th against Chicago. 7:05 first pitch. So a fair ball by Renteria down that right field line. Scoots into the corner, and Edgar is 2 for 2 with a home run and now a double.
He kind of was struggling a little bit in this series. Now he's 4 for 13. Had been only 2 for 11 coming into today.
Let's see if Mike Kubal can move him over. Mike has grounded out 2 short, 0 for 1.
Now, Mike Kubal had that great spring training as non-roster invitee and had a 385, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs.
And does the job here. Tough play for Dahl. He spins and makes a nice play up the first base line, and Kubal does his job as the runner moves up. That's Renteria to 3rd, and a chance to tie this game up for DeFelice.
So Mike gets a bunt down. Boy, when you see a right-handed batter sacrifice, you really see that play where they always say a guy's runs in the baseline. Well, you automatically have to be running in the baseline, and then you see he starts slowly going back over to his right. But you start running, your first steps are almost to the grass.
Infield is drawn in for Mike DeFelice with 1 out. Breaks his bat. Fair ball down the left field line. Run will score. DeFelice will trot in for 2, and it's a double for Mike. And it's a 5-5 game. Broke his bat, just got over Hansen's glove, and it's 5-5.
About 4 or 5 broken bats today. And this one, remember, Poole broke a bat, got a base hit to left. DeFelice does it here with the runner at 3rd base, shatters the bat, but just over the outstretched glove of the 3rd baseman, Dave Hansen. He's playing in. If he's playing back, they might have had a double play. And handle in his hands. The rest of it flies back to the screen.
Here's Mike Matthews with 1 out, and DeFelice at 2nd.
Well, last year in Cincinnati, I think Matthews might have surprised himself, but he just jumped on a ball and line drive crushed one for that lone home run in his career. And
And
you
he
know
did
what?
the Jeffrey Leonard around the bases.
Yeah, 25.5 seconds.
1 flap down, too. One and 2. He took so much grief after that home run. It was unbelievable all year long.
I can't remember who the pitcher was, but it was somebody that he had played against either in winter ball or with the Cleveland organization.
And a strikeout of Matthews on the outside corner.
He was on the cell phone with him.
We had a shot of Sean Casey in that game, too. His face was buried in his glove because he was laughing at Mike.
Swing hard enough, close your eyes, sometimes you'll connect.
Here's Miguel Cairo, today's leadoff man.
Miguel usually very good against left-handed pitching. Came in with a .321 average. And yet he's 0 for 2 today. His be a good time to pick up his first hit.
7 hits aside, a 5-5 game, and Cairo looks at a strike. 0 for 2 today. It's fly to left and fly to right. Cardinals got 4 in the first on a pair of home runs. Have tied it up with a double by DeFelice. Off day around Major League Baseball tomorrow, then the All-Star game on Tuesday, and 2 off days for the Cardinals heading into Friday.
Cardinals will leave here early Thursday morning and go straight to San Diego and then out to Qualcomm Park and work out. Tony will try and get his troops poised for the second half, and hopefully he can still take advantage of that San Diego ball club that is just reeling with injuries. I think Ray Langford is their 14th guy on the disabled list.
Yeah. Cardinals have just dominated San Diego over the last few years. A sweep this past week here at Busch. And last year was probably the best pitched series the Cardinals have had against San Diego. Woody Williams faced a minimum 1 game. Bud Smith's no-hitter, and Matt Morris pitched, I believe it was something like 8 2/3 in another game.
I think the Padres have beaten the Cardinals twice in the last 3 years.
I think you're right.
Something like that. I mean,
Three balls and a strike on Cairo. Polanco on deck. Miguel fouls it back. No Tony Gwynn this year, though, as we head out to San Diego.
pretty much Ryan Klesko and their minor league system.
Yep. When healthy, Phil Nevin.
And he should be coming back pretty soon, but he had the broken arm.
Right. Full count. The pitch by Dahl is popped up right side. Is there a play for Eric Karros? Out of room. Near the tarp and out of play. And we'll do it again. Ernie Hayes trying to get them going here at the ballpark. He's been lively on this homestand, Al.
Ernie's that kind of guy.
Here's a 3-2. Cairo pulls it foul. Change up by Dow. You come to the ballpark, you go to a party suite. You don't expect that foul ball there, but they got it. Three and two on Cairo. And Miguel draws the walk. First walk handed out by Omar Dow. And it brings in Polanco, who's 2 for 2 with a run scored, a pair of base hits.
Jim Colburn going to go out and talk to Dahl. No activity in the bullpen, but I see that they've just gone to the bullpen phone. Played with Jim Colburn in Kansas City, and he was also a coach over in Japan where he had So Taguchi on his team. He still thinks So Taguchi could be a big leaguer.
He hasn't shown anything at the plate, but obviously So Taguchi can play defense. We saw that in the series against Seattle. It's our date in baseball history back in 1970. Indians pitcher Dean Chance is told by the umpire to remove a tiny flag pin from his cap because of the glare. It's also brought to you by Bank of America.
Remember in the 70s when all the hitters were complaining about the gold necklaces the pitchers were wearing? If I was a pitcher, I'd be complaining about all the diamond earrings. I can't throw a strike because a guy's got a diamond earring. It's disrupting me.
It's disrupting you. But now the ear flaps have taken that away, Al.
Oh, that's right. Good
So-
point.
That ball is going to get down. DeFelice is going to score. And the Cardinals lead it again. Second time they have led this game. It's 6-5. And the RBI by Polanco. He's 3 for 3.
How about that? Polanco starting to hit like we've accustomed to seeing him. Cardinals battling back, getting the second lead of this game. Polanco just a solid single out in front of Grissom.
I think he barehands this. He did.
Yeah, he did. Played it kind of conservatively, but Polanco 3 for 3. He's been on fire of late. That's his 26th RBI. I think he had 38 all last year.
And it brings in Albert Pujols, and time is called by Paul LaDuca. Speaking of this Dodgers bullpen, what have you thought of Gagne, their closer?
Unfortunately, I think he's pretty good.
Yes, he is.
32 saves, lead the major leagues, and Jim Tracy was telling me the other day that he could be even better, and they're going to go to the bullpen right now.
So that's going to be it for Omar Dow. He'll last 3 2/3.
Carrera, Giovanni Carrera.
So with Albert Pujols due up for St. Louis, Dow is done for the afternoon. And the Cardinals have regained the lead, 6-5. Hey kids, on Saturday, August 10th, the Cardinals play the Mets. It's Ice Mountain Team Poster Night. All fans 15 and under with a paid admission receive a 2002 Cardinals team poster. Compliments of Ice Mountain Spring Water, the official bottled water of the St. Louis Cardinals. And that'll be on Saturday, August 10th, when the Cardinals tangle with the New York Mets. Welcome back to Busch Stadium. Giovanni Carrera, right-handed pitcher, takes over for the Dodgers. Leads the relief core of the Dodgers in innings pitched with 52. He's 2-0 with a 1.17 ERA in his last 10 outings. His longest outing was 5 innings back in early May against Atlanta. And he does have 1 save. 5-2 is his mark.
It's from Venezuela. So one Venezuelan replaces another. And the Cardinals are still batting with 2 outs here in their 4th inning. 4-0 lead. Saw that disappear. 5-4 lead for the Dodgers, and now the Cardinals have scored a pair to get a 6-5 lead.
First and second, here's Pujols, and Albert looks at a fastball up and in.
Albert's plunked on the wrist. He also had to spin away from a up and in fastball yesterday, and now they went up there. Obviously they're trying to go inside, but some of the pitches are getting awful high.
Cardinals have 8 hits on the day. That was against Dow. Dodgers have 7. Redbirds lead it by a run. Polanco and Cairo at first and second. And it's 2-0. See what Albert can do here. He's got a base hit. He's also struck out, has a run scored. This is the final game of a 10-game homestand for the Dodgers, or rather road trip, and the final game of this 13-game homestand for the Cardinals. Two and one.
Albert been swinging the hot bat. He's hit safely in 9 of his last 11 games. 370 or so during that time. 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. First Cardinal ever to have back-to-back or 20-game seasons his first 2 years in the big leagues.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. And it's 3-1. Carrera started his professional career in the majors back in 1995 with Toronto. Pitched for 4 major league organizations. Also, he pitched in Japan for joining the Dodgers in 2001. 3-1 on Pujols with first and second. Cardinals up by a run. Perez on deck. Full count, and the runners will be off with this next pitch. Polanco and Cairo at first and second.
I'm not too sure he wants to throw him a fastball.
No. Albert could lose it in a hurry. Runners go. Here's the 3-2, and Pujols jumps on it. Left field. Grissom back near the wall. It is gone. Three home runs on the afternoon for St. Louis. 2 3-run home runs. This one by Albert.
3-2 pitch and try to get it away from him. And middle half up. High towering fly ball. Grissom looks up and the fans have it. Albert knew it. Forget about this 20 for 20 stuff. And right now Tony's trying to get it. They're going to pinch hit Jim Edmonds for Perez. So the Cardinals have backed down 9 runs on their 9 hits.
And this is our Auto Tire pinch hitter. It's now 9-5 St. Louis. Edmonds to pinch hit for Perez.
Cardinals got a loaded bench with a lot of left-handed swingers.
Seen some home runs this last week, haven't we?
Sure have. It's again that ball. He wanted it away. It was running up and in, but Albert was looking for something to jerk, and he hits his 21st home run. 65 RBIs, but not good enough for the All-Star game. 375 feet, but that's good enough. First Cardinal in his first 2 years to hit 20 home runs, and he'll be the first Cardinals in his first 2 years to have 30 plus.
Here's a 1-1 to Edmonds. He slices it foul. 1-2. Tony La Russa went with all the right-handers in the lineup against Omar Dow, but now Edmonds against this right-hander off the bench.
And he went 254 games since having an all right-handed lineup. September 23rd of 2000.
Edmonds hangs alive.
Foiled a good pitch right there. Unbelievable season last year and making a statement with a great sophomore season.
Here's a 1-2 to Edmonds. Fouls it back into the seats. It's been a 3-run home run by Perez. That was back in the first, got things going. Renteria solo home run. Pujols a 3-run home run. So 3 of them on the day. The Cardinals up by 4 runs. Edmonds, a line shot into right field. Green coming on. He can't make the play. Edmonds is going to try for 2. And he'll get in there safely.
Tippy-toeing in there. Hope everything was all right, but a bit risky the way Jimmy was kind of going in, standing up and tippy-toeing. And Sean Green's got a good throwing arm. A lot of top spin on this right off the end of the bat. A lot of top spin. That's why it falls in front of Sean Green. Sinks on him. and then he scrambles to get to it and recover and almost throws Edmonds out at second base.
No activity in that Los Angeles bullpen. And another conference on the mound. Edmonds with the double. 5 hits in this inning. Let's listen to that bench reaction following the home run by Albert Pujols on a 3-2 delivery. Albert has made it 9-5. Cardinals have put up a 5 spot here in the 4th.
Keep on going.
Here's Marrero. Strike right down the middle. Eli today is lined out to right and popped out to short to end the 3rd inning.
Milwaukee's added another run. They lead Cincinnati 6-3, and Cincinnati's batting in the bottom of the 8th.
Eli is the 9th man to come to the dish here in the 4th. Albert has scored a pair of runs today as well, and that ties him with Barry Bonds for the league lead. One and 2 on Eli. Thought Eli was going to be the hero. Now the Dodgers get another pitcher up and throwing. It looks like a lefty in their bullpen.
Terry Mulholland.
Been around for a while.
Oh yeah, put him and Orozco together. Here's what you're talking about. Add 2 to Pujols. His run total, tying Bonds at 66, most in the National League.
Eli had the home run yesterday, but the Cardinals bullpen could not hold on. The Dodgers won it in 11. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a strikeout of Eli. The Cardinals send 9 men to the dish. And Albert Pujols, a 3-run home run to cap off a 5-run inning. It's a grand slam. Ford Taurus, $3,000 cash back or 0% APR financing for 60 months for qualified buyers. Ford and your quality Ford stores. Your home run to summer fun. You're watching the Cardinals on WB11, KPLR-TV, St. Louis, and the Cardinals Television Network. Mike Matthews stays in the game. Here's Grissom to lead it off for the Dodgers. In the top of the 5th, Jim Edmonds has stayed in the game. He'll play center field. Eli Marrero moves from center to right, and Perez is on the bench. Grissom into left field. Miguel is here for out number 1.
Mike's retired all 4 men to his face. There was an off-speed pitch. He had Grissom out in front. Hey, Wyatt Flashman is here. He's celebrating his 5th birthday. He's here with his family and his grandpa Preston, retired Anheuser-Busch district manager in Little Rock, and also a good friend of Jim Riggleman, one of Jim Tracy's bench coach. So, happy birthday, Wyatt.
Here's Grudzielanek against Mike Matthews, who's been aggressive. The first man he saw was Sean Green. Went to a full count with him, but struck him out. Then he got Karros to fly out, struck out Hansen, Grissom to fly out, and 1 ball, 1 strike on Grudzielanek. I think that's one knock against Mike, is that it seems like a lot of times he'll fall behind in the count.
And I mean, I think those are little things about his mannerisms on the mound, that he's got great stuff, but sometimes he doesn't present that positive image to a hitter.
That is popped up. Polanco has it. Well, before today's game, the Cardinals honored Allison Clark of Caruthersville, Missouri, and Derek Cross of Appleton City, Missouri. Allison was the winner, and Derek was the runner-up in the sportsmanship essay contest organized by the Missouri State High School Activities Association. And they're watching the game with their families in the broadcast suite right behind us. There they are. So congratulations to those two very nice junior high students, Allison Clark and Derek Cross. Congratulations. 2 outs, and here's Turris. Cesar Turris, the shortstop. Singled, stole a base, came around to score, then was intentionally passed back in the third. 1 for 1 on the day. Here's Jim Edmonds, and a 1-2-3 inning for Mike Matthews. He's done a whale of a job to score this innings from that bullpen. Led to the bottom of the 5th. Renteria, Kubal, and DeFelice coming up. This portion of Cardinal baseball on WB11 is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it, and by Geico Direct, the sensible alternative. Sessions have been busy today. We started this afternoon, 95 degrees here at Busch Stadium. As we welcome you back, shadows starting to creep onto those seats into right field, but on the left side of this ballpark, it is hot until about 5 o'clock when that shade creeps in. Rebellet takes over at second. We also have a new pitcher in the game. So Jeff Rebellet is a new second baseman. Terry Mulholland is the new pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the third used by Jim Tracy this afternoon. Al.
Well, you see the high ERA, a lot of hits in 21 2/3 innings. Look at 9 home runs allowed. So really been a struggle for Terry, who's had a nice career and a swing guy that he can go from the starting rotation to the bullpen, trying to get things resolved here.
Haven't had to use him in that starting rotation at all with Nomo back. Ishii's been outstanding. Omar Dahl has been good from the bullpen to that starting rotation with the exception of today. They've had great pitching from their starters. Quickly 2-0 on Renteria. Edgar with a home run and a double today. Renteria, Kubal, and then Mike DeFelice. One hopper to Grudzielanek. One out here in the bottom of the 5th. Check that Jeff Rebellet at second after taking over for Grudzielanek. And that'll bring in Kubal. 0 for 1 with a sacrifice. Rounded out to short his first time up. And sacrifice back in the 4th. Looks at a breaking ball and a strike.
Let's see if we can get Mike a hit here. Let him relax a little bit. After a great spring, he put too much pressure on himself trying to get back. Didn't hit well the first month or so at Memphis. And then he started picking it up with 16 home runs, 250 batting average, and 34 RBIs.
Mulholland came into the season 39 years of age. Jesse Orozco is 45. Some age down that bullpen.
Just from the lefties.
Just from the lefties is right. 2 outs. Mulholland came up with San Francisco back in 1986. Then was with the Phillies in 1989. Spent a year with the Yankees, then back with San Francisco, back with Philly, then Seattle, the Cubs, San Francisco again, Cubs again, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and now Los Angeles. That's getting around the league.
Getting around. Started his own memorabilia shop. Starting with his uniform.
Yeah. DeFelice up the middle and a base hit. 2-hit day for Mike DeFelice.
It almost seems like if Mike gets 1 hit, he'll get 2. He had a double last time, and now he adds a single right back up the middle.
DeFelice talked about Al trying to regroup about this time last season. He actually called a former Cardinal farmhand, Roy Silver, He runs a baseball school in Florida and worked out with him. Try to sharpen his skills, at least to keep them at this type of level, and then sign with the Cardinals.
Yeah, I remember Roy, who after his brief playing career was a Cardinal minor league manager.
Quickly 0-2 on Matthews, who's been very good on the mound. Chance to earn a win.
He's retired all 6 men he's faced pitching. It's his second at bat.
2-2. Second half of the season will be interesting now when we get a chance to get J.D. Drew back in that lineup healthy. Also to see what Walt Jocketty can do as far as trying to acquire pitching. Talk more about that when we come back. Matthews will stay in the game. We played 5 and the Cardinals up 9-5. Join Jeff Bernthal, Dan Eason, and meteorologist Karen Shipman with all the latest news, sports, and weather tonight at 9, only here on WB11. Hot day here in St. Louis. First inning, it was 95. Mike Matthews in his 3rd inning of work here today. 6 up and 6 down. He's been effective. Rebele was part of a double switch. He'll lead things off in the 9th spot in the order, then the top of the order for Jim Tracy and the Dodgers. We're talking about that, though, before the breakout second half. Expectations with this team certainly are high. Cardinals, as we speak, a game up on Cincinnati. Drew will be back, hopefully healthy and able to play with that tendonitis in the knee, patella tendonitis, and possibly a new face or two in that starting rotation for the Cardinals.
Yeah, we can assume that, but you can't really count on it, and you just got to go out and make the most of it. I think JD will miss one game after the All-Star break, and then he was eligible to return on, say, Saturday,
right,
in San Diego. And I know they've started to increase his activities a little bit, and hopefully he has no setbacks.
2 balls and a strike on Rebele. Pounds it left side, and that's a fair ball inside the line. Cairo will barehand and get it in quickly, and Rebele is held to a single. What a play by Miguel.
Outstanding play. And just a ball bouncing virtually on the foul line. See how far off the line they are, and just inside the bag, then nobody interferes. That's unbelievable. His fans all had gloves, but did not interfere with it, and there's the great play of Rebele. And he thought about going for 2, but he came up and scrambles back with a very quick play by Cairo to get that ball back in and hold him to a single.
Boca Chica will pinch hit for Roberts.
Hiram Boca Chica. And I think Jim Tracy trying to give some of his regular guys a little bit of a breather. I don't know if I totally agree with this, but I mean, you know, you do Boca Chica is a right-handed batter and Roberts left-handed. There's still a lot of game left in a hot day.
1 ball, 1 strike. Dodgers wrapping up a 10-game road trip here today. Cardinals, the longest homestand of the season, off to San Diego this weekend. We'll be on the road an awful lot upcoming. San Diego, Los Angeles for a brief 5-game visit to the West Coast, and then 2 days here. Actually less than 2 days, really, when you break it down. And then the Cardinals will go east to Pittsburgh, then west to San Francisco for 4. And the 2 games at home will be against the Giants. Ground ball left side. This could be 2. Double play. Five, 4-3 on the double play, started by Coolbaugh.
So another good pitch by Matthews. Right there, chest high to Polanco. Just let him perfectly. That's what you want to do. Sit there and you chest high and you lead him a little bit. He's coming to that bag, and Mike Matthews still faced the minimum as he's got 2 2/3 innings done.
Here's LaDuca. Fastball up and away by Mike Matthews. Third pitcher used by Tony La Russa here today. Hackman started with 2 innings. Crudale 1 inning, and now Matthews an out away from 3. Perfect innings. 2-0. LaDuca is over 2 today. 6 hits though in this 4-game set. Cardinals do have a right-hander up and throwing in their bullpen.
Mike Timlin, in case this game or this inning gets extended beyond Sean Green, the on-deck hitter.
4 straight LaDuca walks, and now Matthews will deal with Sean Green, and he struck him out the first time he saw him. That's the last thing that Mike wanted to do, is 4 straight balls to LaDuca.
Absolutely. Even if you had to groove something and throw a home run pitch, you know, you just don't want to walk and let a club get back in it. That's why Dave Duncan running out here and just going, stay aggressive, go right after these guys. The first man that Matthews faced is the batter Sean Green. He struck him out.
It was back in the 4th inning, and Green is 1 for 2 on the day.
Been a while since Mike has pitched 3 innings. But still, you have to be conditioned well enough to do that.
Including today, and that's a ball to Green. 21 straight innings with just 4 earned runs. That one looked like a strike to me.
Yeah, it did look like one. Might have been a bit low. It's hard for us to judge the height.
6 straight balls after he got the double play. And it's 2-0. Sean Green, a fan favorite back in Los Angeles. Very active in the Jewish community.
I was going to say, you talked about that, you know, Friday night.
That's a shot down that right field line and a base hit. It'll be 2nd and 3rd as LaDuca, without that good speed, had to stop at 3rd. The ball was brought in by Eli Morel and right.
Tony will have to make a decision now. Ball behind, breaking ball, and Sean Green just rips it down in the corner for the double. And they're going to go to Mike Timlin right now, try to get this out, even with Hansen, the on-deck hitter.
Dave Duncan has already motioned to the bullpen. Timlin is getting set to come in. He'll be the fourth pitcher used by the Cardinals today. So Matthews could not get that final out for his 3 innings of work. He goes 2 2/3. Mike Timlin will come in and face Karros with second and third. Mike Timlin will be asked to get that final out here in the top of the 6th inning with 2 runners on. He worked 3 scoreless innings of relief Tuesday in this homestand against San Diego. That was his 10th hold of the season. Friday he saw Los Angeles 2 2/3 with just 1 hit and a pair of strikeouts. So 36-year-old Mike Timlin, the fourth pitcher used by the Cardinals, will face Eric Karros, and that'll be the first man that he'll see, and hopefully the final man he'll see here in the top of the 6th.
One thing for a relief pitcher is what do they do with the first man they face? And if Mike Timlin can get the first man, Mike Matthews will feel much better, and his chance of picking up the victory will be that much greater. Timlin has retired 29 of the first 35 batters he's faced.
Inherited runners and he's stranded, 6 of 13 for Timlin. Eric Karros today is 0 for 3. Just 3 hits in the 3 games against the Cardinals prior to this one. Hitting .294 on the year.
Of course, Timlin has been plagued by the home run ball. That's the last thing we want now.
Good pitch there, a little sinker. Against Mike Timlin, a pair of home runs for Eric Karros. Balls behind, no balls and a strike. Green is at second, LeDuc at third. Fastball misses in, 1-1.
Burying that power sinker under the hands of Karros. Felice going to go out and talk to Mike.
One and 2 the count on Eric Karros with 2 down and 2 on. Cardinals have themselves a 9-5 lead here in the 6th. Two and 2. Power numbers have been down, as we mentioned before, but Karros does have very good power, has had it in his career.
Well, one of the things is he's gotten a little older, and Jack Clark and Jim Tracy have tried to get him to forget about the home runs, but try to hit the ball with authority, line drive, gap power, especially out in right center.
Foul ball, stays 2 and 2.
Foul that off his foot. Jack Clark. Spent a little time with Jack Clark last night, as he was a member of our Legends coaching staff, and he wanted to see some of the guys, so we were out at Schneidhorst last night.
He was a manager with River City Rascals for a season.
He'd love to get back here in some kind of capacity with the Cardinals.
Here's a 2-2. Foul back.
Karros almost saying, I'm going to swing at this pitch, but I'm going to move my legs out of the way so I can't foul it off again.
Almost did.
So Houston wins. You got to look out for them. They're starting to get that good, solid pitching, and it's like Milwaukee's about to close out Cincinnati, so the Cardinals need to win to get a 2-game lead.
Check swing. Did he go? No. Mike DeMuro with our call. By the way, our umpires today, Hunter Wintelstad is behind the plate. DeMuro is at first, Barksdale at second, and Montague is our third base umpire. Doesn't seem right to see Jack Clark wearing that Dodger uniform, of course.
Look at Guerrero out there in left field, throws his. Why'd you pitch to him, Tommy?
LaDuca in foul territory and jumps out of the way.
That's
Tom Niedenfuhr, of course, gave up that home run, and the Go Crazy folks.
you remember that story about
Should I pitch to this so-and-so?
I'm trying to think of Terry Forrester gave up a home run to Joe Morgan.
Popped up off the bat of Karros, and Timlin should get out of it. Edmonds calls for it. He has it. And Timlin strands two, and Tony La Russa can breathe a bit easier. 9-5 St. Louis. Here's our Sun Trep trivia question. Who was the last Cardinal to homer in an All-Star game? How about number 2, Red Shandies?
Well,
Mark McGuire, Reggie Smith. Reggie Smith back in '74, Al.
I was going to say Red did, if I'm not mistaken,
To win a game, right?
to win a game in like the 16th inning. 1974. Reggie was a teammate of mine, and then of course he went to the Dodgers from the Cardinals.
Here's Cairo to lead it off. He's the leadoff man for the Cardinals today. Near the bottom of the 6th. Terry Mulholland is the pitcher for the Dodgers.
Terry's in his 2nd inning of work. Faced 4 batters the 1st inning, only a base hit by DeFelice.
And Miguel is hit by the pitch on 0-2. So the leadoff man reaches against Mulholland.
Terry coming in on him and gets him right up in the upper arm. Blanco with his 3 hits today is now 6 for 17 in this series.
Ground ball to second. High hop. Goes into right center field, and Cairo is digging all the way. He'll be held up at third. It's 1st and 3rd and nobody out. Ball came up on Rebele and off his glove into the outfield.
Well, we see this ball right here, right at the edge of the grass, and the bad hop. That reminds me of what Grounds Crew was talking about, a similar play like that hit around a sprinkler area, and it's kind of sunken in where they had to do a little repair. The Cardinals this time benefit from that bad hop, and Polanco is 4 for 4.
Here's Albert Pujols, 1st and 3rd. Jim Edmonds on the on-deck circle, talking it over with Chris Pronger.
Oh man, what, Pronger moves down. What's this all about? He starts out in the red seats and now he moves down to the green ones.
He's on deck in a major league game talking to Chris Pronger.
Well, he was in Tony's seats earlier, and now he's moved down to the owners.
Chris is training very hard for next season.
Yes, we can see. At least he doesn't have the wrist on the cast wrist anymore. How about the knee?
He was limping around. 0-2 on Pujols. He drives it into right field. On the run is Green. He won't get it. One hopper off the wall. 1 run scores. That makes it 10-5 St. Louis. And Albert has himself a double. 3-hit day for Albert Pujols and a triple away from the cycle.
About 9 hits between your 2, 3, and 4 batters. And Edmonds can add to that as he's coming here. Shoots a gap out on the right center. 1 hops the wall. Cardinals catch a break. Well, it wouldn't have mattered if he was a ground rule double or not. It wasn't, but Polanco couldn't come around to score, so 2 sitting out there for Edmonds.
10-5 Redbirds, 13 hits on the day, and nobody out here in the 6th, and the infield is drawn in. Down by 5 runs. Infield is in for Los Angeles. Edmonds has a single today. His average has dipped to 316. He's hit by the pitch, and the bases will be loaded. Mulholland has hit 2 in this inning. The first was Cairo, and now Jim Edmonds.
Well, that's what, 4 or 5 guys, Cardinals, that have been hit in this series. Have we hit any of theirs? Maduka got hit, that's right. Now we'll see how many more.
Marrero is 0 for 3 on the day. Polanco, Pujols, and Edmonds. Bases loaded. Eli swinging for the fences. Strike 1.
Eli, career high in home runs. He's got 1 grand slam. Just make contact, Eli. He's won. You know, if the season we're in today, he would be virtually have almost career highs in every offensive category.
And that's something.
Right about it there. Like he's like 1 RBI away from tying his career high. Ooh,
right on that
rip.
pitch. A ball and 2 strikes on Marrero. He was right on this pitch.
Out away from him, right towards right over the shoulder of the catcher. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Ooh, just fouled and over the head of Placido Polanco, and in many ways his at bat out could have changed the complexion of this series on Friday night against Gagne with the bases loaded and nobody out.
Yeah, bases loaded, and you know, you thought about a guy that's a contact hitter. Here you see a good reason why you always take your lead in foul territory. That ball hits you, you know, the batter's not out.
2-2 the count on Marrero. Talking about all those career highs. He's about 40 points higher than his career batting mark. And it's popped up behind home plate and out of play. He's already established a career high with the 8 home runs. He had 6 in '99 and in 2001. 33 RBIs, 1 shy of 34 his best, and 10 stolen bases. 1 off his top mark of 11 in '99. Ooh, wow, where was that pitch? And it's a full count on Marrero, and this will be our Pizza Hut perfect delivery of the game. He could put this game out of reach. Cardinals up by 5 runs. Bases loaded and a full count, nobody out. And Eli draws the walk.
Ties his career high in RBIs now.
34 on the season, and makes this an 11-5 Cardinal lead.
A couple hits batsman and a walk with the bases loaded with 2 hits in between. Give the Cardinals their 11th run.
So Polanco scores. Pujols along with Edmonds and Marrero on the base paths, and Renteria looks at a strike. He's had a big day. A pair of runs scored, a solo home run back in the first, and a double in the fourth. 2 for 3. 13 hits for the Redbirds. Edgar into left field. And it drops. 1 run is going to score.
They look at each other.
Bocachica and Grissom in left and in center field couldn't decide who was going to take it. Bocachica looked like he was all over it. He stopped, hesitated, went for it again, and Grissom came on and couldn't make the play.
See, they're looking at each other, but center fielder's got to take charge. And remember, Grissom in the past has been a Gold Glove center fielder. So there you see, you just got to take charge. The last second he reaches down for it, and a little too late. Marquise Grissom, Bocachica. I blame Grissom on that, and I'm sure he's the kind of guy, anybody that's bought 14 homes for his siblings, is the kind of guy that takes responsibility, and Marquise would.
And a hit is given to Renteria.
Take it. So 3 hits for Renteria, 2 RBIs, giving him 36. Remember, he hit his 4th home run, a solo shot earlier in the game.
And still the bases are loaded. Nobody out. It's 12-5 Cardinals. And how about Mike Coolball? This would be a good time for hit number 1. Coolball rips it. Foul.
Coolball had 39 games with Milwaukee last year. He batted 200, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. But you're right. Maybe this could get the monkey off of Coolball's. Get that hit and RBI.
No balls, 2 strikes. Mike with the start today, third base. That's the first out. Strikeout by Terry Mulholland of Coolball. And that'll bring in Mike DeFelice. DeFelice today, 2 for 3. RBI double on a broken bat. Down the third base line. And he also picked up a base hit. He's lined out his other time up. And he looks at a strike. It's 12-5 Cardinals on 14 hits today. No grand slams in the career of Mike DeFelice. Little chopper, that could be 2. There's 1, there's 2. Cardinals, though, play 3. They got 4 in the first, 5 in the 4th, and 3 here in the 6th, and they lead it 12-5.
Home field advantage goes to the family arriving at the game in their Ford Windstar. Now with $3,000 cash back or 0 APR. Ford and your quality Ford stores, your home run to summer fun. Beautiful hot afternoon here at Busch Stadium, and even more fun as the Cardinals have played 6 innings, scored 12 runs, and have a 12-5 lead. I saw this sign out in left field. Just married. We miss you. Well, where are they? I think maybe they took a hiatus back to the hotel room, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I could say something.
4th of July weekend, lots of fireworks.
You raise your eyebrows like that. I could say something, but then you'd be mad at me again.
I'm not mad at you, Al.
Then I can say
we
it.
are the best of friends.
Then I can say it?
No. Rich has got chapter 2 of the Scott Roback story standing by. Rich.
Yeah, Dan, when we began this telethon, Scott and I were talking a little bit about his work, right? He can barely miss a pitch as he's focused in now on Mike Timlin. Scott, tell us, you've got a very long lens there, don't you? I bet you've heard that before.
Yes, I have. Just trying to bring the guys in close and have the pictures nice and tight so you can see all the action up front.
Yeah. How tight can you get on that pitcher?
On the picture, I only have half his body, so right now I'm looking at Pujols, the right side of the infield with the lefty up. If he pulls the ball, then I got that side covered.
And when you shoot, don't you really have to guess? I mean, there's a lot of guesswork. You don't know where the ball's going.
Not at all. It just helps being around baseball and watching it for so many years, trying to learn the hitters, and a lot of times you just guess.
I mean, I see you at basketball games. That's much easier to shoot than baseball.
Yeah, basketball, you just look for the hoop, look for passes, but this thing's so fast, it's, you know, you just got to guess where the guy, for nice dive plays, and for double plays, you just go focus on second base a little easier.
And you look very cool. Did you get that? Did you get it, Scott? Did you get that ball going? Wait a minute. That's a good shot. He dropped it. Did you get that?
Well, I'm looking for the guy to get picked off the bag now.
See there, in a minute of, I don't know, about 10 seconds, he missed 14 good shots, fellas. I had him. He didn't.
Rich is a little tough, isn't he, down there? Calm down, Rich. I bet Scott got them all. being too tough on him down there, Rich.
One of the things that our fans can look forward to on Wednesdays when we're doing a Fox game, we're going to start doing a pitcher-in-pitcher, where we'll have the capabilities of isolating like Scott Rovak.
That's a base hit. Pass cool ball near the corner. Cairo will cut it off and get it back in quickly, but a double for Grissom. His second hit of the afternoon.
Here comes the Dodgers. We'll have the, like Rovak trying to make a still photograph. We're going to have a pitcher-in-pitcher where we can maybe concentrate on, say, a left fielder, like right here. And you follow that left fielder as he's going to the ball. Still see all the action, but we can isolate on one position player or something else, give you a little bit different look, see what happens as the ball is put in play, what guys do.
That'll be nice.
Hopefully.
There's so many nuances of the game that you just can't capture with the pictures that we give you. And our guys are some of the best in the league. But it's tough to catch everything that goes on in a baseball game. And kind of like what Scott was saying, in a basketball game, it's pretty much in front of you. You know what's going on, but there's so many things in a baseball game that you just can't find. So that'll be kind of fun.
And we will echo how good our crew is. Well, they know all the nooks and crannies here at Busch Stadium, doing all the games here. And now Dave Duncan trotting up, trying to get to Mike Timlin as Dave Veers is throwing in the bullpen.
How good has Dave Veers been lately?
Been outstanding.
Let's give credit where credit is due. Cardinal Baseball is a production of Busch Sports and an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net, our great crew provided by Busch Sports. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's Alex Cora, his first time up. Cora's hitting .301. 1 for 4 in this series. And it's 3-0. No doubt Tony La Russa, along with Dave Duncan and Walt Jocketty, have to be concerned about Woody Williams, who in many ways, Al, has been the #1 starter for about the last 2 or 3 weeks, leading with his bat and the way that he has pitched. He's just been everything and then some. But with what transpired yesterday, you become a little uneasy.
Well, that's right. And, you know, hopefully it's just something that'll rest will take care of. I doubt that he's going to make that his next schedule start, which would have been the first game after the break.
Right.
Remember, they wanted to give Matt Morris at least another little bit of a breather. He wasn't scheduled to start until his second game. So the urgency to find some pitching. And Tony's trying to yell to get the attention of the umpires. Call timeout. And is he going to make a double switch here? So it looks like Dave Veers will be coming in, as Timlin was good enough to get the final out of the 6th, but no one out here in the 7th.
And Veers is set to go. He's walking off the mound in the bullpen, so
I probably think that would DeFelice be part of it.
Looked like he was motioning as if he was going to do a double switch. We'll see. Bases loaded, nobody out. Robinson will take over in right field for the Cardinals. He'll take over for Eli Marrero. After Eli had started in center, he moved to right, and then Edmonds came in off the bench. Dave Veers will be the 5th pitcher used by Tony La Russa and the Cardinals today. He'll come in with the bases loaded and nobody out. It started with Hackman, Crudale, Mike Matthews, who worked very well out of the bullpen, Mike Timlin, and now Dave Veers. So Veers in a dangerous spot with bases loaded, and nobody out. And it looks like Marrero, it's going to be part of a double switch. Marrero's going to move from right to behind the plate. DeFelice was out there warming up Dave Veers, so Marrero just took some time getting that equipment on, and he'll move from center field, right field, now to behind the plate. Doesn't matter, it's like little leagues to him.
Right, but that's what they're waiting for, is for Eli to get ready. So Veers kind of standing around there. Doesn't want to be standing out there too long under this heat.
He's leading the team's relievers in both appearances with 38 and holds with 13. Here comes Eli.
Veers pitched 3 innings yesterday.
Good day by DeFelice, a pair of hits, also an RBI. So Eli will go out and talk it over with Veers. This is yesterday, 3 innings for Dave Veers against the Dodgers, only 33 pitches, so you figure you can get an inning out of Mr. Veers here today. Cesar Izturis will be the hitter. He's singled, stole a base. He's also walked and scored a run. The bases are loaded here for the Dodgers, and the Cardinals leading at 12-5 here in the 7th. I don't even want to talk about what happened last Sunday.
That was last Sunday.
That's right, in Cincinnati. There's been some games that have come down to the wire in this series. Yesterday in the 9th. Cardinals could not hold on. You go to the night before in the 9th. Bases loaded, nobody out. Couldn't score. Very easily, we could be talking about a sweep this afternoon.
Absolutely, but first 3 games were nail biters. Cardinals lost first 2 out of the first 3. As you said, just a break here or there, they be looking for the sweep.
You give all these players credit with the loss of a teammate and a friend like Darryl Kyle, but you give even, it seems like, special credit to a guy like Dave Veers, one of his closest friends for so many years, and he has just been terrific the last couple of weeks. Line shot into left, and a sliding misplay in left by Cairo. A force play and safe at third base, so the base is still loaded and nobody out, and a run scores to make it 12-6.
Well, like yesterday, Cairo trying to do a little bit too much and doing it too quickly. I mean, here he's trying to make the sliding catch. He didn't need to make the sliding catch. Catch it standing up. Starts sliding it, changes the eye angle. They can't give that a base hit, can they?
They already
there's
awarded the error. Yeah.
There's the error finally. But like yesterday, he's trying to make a throw home before he caught the ball, and here I think he's trying to do a little too much and really didn't need to slide. Could have just ran in and caught that ball waist high.
RBI though awarded to Izturis. That'll be his 24th on the season. So an error given to Cairo. Made a costly error yesterday, and he was working before today's game in that outfield, taking fly balls. That's unlike him. Here's Jeff Rabelais. Ground ball back to Veers. 1, 2, 3. Double play. We saw it on Friday night when Polanco grounded back to the pitcher, Gagne. Rabelais does so here to Veers.
Dave Veers really comes in and would have had both the men out. He should be out of the inning with just 1 run scored. Now he's already gotten 3 outs, but he needs to get 1 more because of the error in left.
Here's Brian Jordan, pinch hitter. 3 for 13 in the series, hitting .276 on the year. It's the first time he has pinch hit this season. And the first pitch to him is in the dirt.
Dodgers came in with the National League's best .283 average for pinch hitting, and there you see Brian's numbers in his career: 357, 2 home runs, 11 RBIs.
Two and 0. Jordan, of course, came up with the Cardinals. Big offseason acquisition, the trade by Gary Sheffield, or by the Dodgers of Gary Sheffield to Atlanta. 2 balls and a strike on Brian Jordan. You always liked him, didn't you, Al?
BJ?
Yeah.
I loved the way he played. Had that football mentality, plays hard all the way. It's great to watch him defensively. I've always considered him to be a breaking ball hitter. And even in '96, we don't win the Central Division without the contribution of Brian Jordan, even in injury play. So Jim Tracy knows the value of BJ, and Troy La Russa does too. Called him a winning player.
Jordan came up with the Cardinals in 1992 and '96. He was just Mr. Clutch, 104 RBIs and 17 home runs, and he hit .310.
Remember, he had the bad wrist, but it really made him a much better hitter. Power numbers were down, but he was a good hitter and RBI, and he got hit by the pitch.
Yeah, just caught him, just nicked him as he was backing up from it a little bit. So on 2 and 2, he hits Brian Jordan. The bases are loaded yet again.
Splitter just kind of runs in on the right-handed batter and just grazes him around the forearm. Six-run lead, but you don't feel real comfortable, do you?
No, you don't. You got LeDuc at the plate, 0 for 2 on the afternoon, but he's hitting .327 on the year. And it's popped up. Polanco has it, and LaDuca leaves the bases loaded. Dodgers only get 1. It's 12-6 St. Louis. Congratulations to Brent Rover, today's merchandise prize winner in the Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run in the 7th inning, Brent Rover will qualify for the grand prize drawing for a Hyundai Santa Fe at the end of the season. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer to complete an entry form. New pitcher in for Los Angeles, Paul Quantrill, take over for the Dodgers. Right-hander. As the Cardinals lead this one by the score of 12-6. We'll move to the bottom of the 7th. The Cardinals have banged out 14 hits today. 14. Dodgers have hit against 6 different Cardinal pitchers. Here's the numbers on Quantrill.
You see 47th appearance already. Last year he led the American League with 80 as he was with Toronto. 11-2 mark, 3.04 and 2 saves. So he's been a workhorse out of that bullpen for the Dodgers. He's tied for 2nd in the National League and tied for 3rd in the major leagues in the games pitched.
Well, the All-Star break, will these standings look the same as we finish up here today? Cardinals, as we speak, a game and a half in front of Cincinnati. They lost today. The Astros are just 6 out now. They're 41 and 45 and starting to come alive. Pirates are 9.5 out. NL Central standings brought to you by Dodge. And of course, the Cardinals are 46 and 38. St. Louis and Kerry Robinson will lead it off for the Cardinals. Part of a double switch last inning. So we'll see Carried in the top of the order. Brian Jordan stays in the game.
Yep, stays out there, goes to left field.
Cardinals will enjoy some time off. A chance for these players to get away from the ballpark, be with their families after what has been one of the hardest first halves as far as things that have happened away from the field this franchise has ever seen. The death of Darryl Kyle. Jack Buck passed away.
And that tough has been on Tony, where the loss of his father, his godfather, in a very short time, he and Jack Buck had become very close. And then the loss of Darryl Kyle, one of his real leaders and real pitching leaders and clubhouse leader.
Robinson strikes out. Flags of JFB. DK 57 here at the ballpark. Tino Martinez will be the hitter. Tino, of course, very disappointed with his first half. Only hitting .245, but 43 RBIs. You project that out, and he's close to 100 for the season. He's part of our Auto Tire pinch hitting group. A lot of it had to do with getting adjusted. New pitchers, new ballparks, and a new team.
He's starting to make, I think, consistent improvements. He's got 8 RBIs his last 6 games. Hits have been coming more frequently in bunches.
One and two on Tino.
Last year he was really a second half player for the Yankees, and does so again. His numbers will be there.
Just past 4 o'clock here at Busch Stadium. You're watching the Cardinals on WB11. KPLR-TV, St. Louis. Here's a 2-2. Tino pops it up left side and out of play. The second half is going to be fun, though. The Cardinals do go out and get a starting pitcher. J.D. Drew finally healthy. The month of June, Tino almost hit 300. Good pitch by Quantrill, didn't get the call. Let's face it, playing in the division that they play in certainly helps. You look at the Dodgers, 20-plus games above 500. The Cardinals lead their division, not even 10 games above the 500 mark. There's a shot the opposite way, and that'll go to the wall, and Tino will dink for 2. One out double by Tino Martinez, his first plate appearance today.
Let's build on that once we come back after the All-Star break, but let's also see if we can build on the Cardinal lead. They lead by 6. Can they add to it? Slicing double, and boy, the balls, even though this is a grass surface, it almost as if it's turf, how quick it is. A lot of balls have been getting to the wall.
Here's Polanco. He's had a big day, 4 for 4 on the afternoon. Leaders at the halfway point in the American League, Seattle in the West. Minnesota leading by 7.5 games over Chicago in the Central, and New York leads Boston by a game. They pick up Jeff Weaver and Raul Mondesi. Last 5-hit game back in 2001, Bina against the Diamondbacks.
Let's see if we can get him that 5th hit.
One and two on Polanco. I think you're right, though, Al, with Houston starting to pitch much better. That's a team that certainly scares you, that could go on a run. Remember, at this point last year, the Cardinals were 8 games out. Polanco has raised his average 11 points to 285 this afternoon.
And the Woody Williams trade was made August 2nd and really was made for this season, not last. And yet he came over, took charge of that clubhouse, and everybody jumped on board.
Polanco, 5-hit day. Green will come up throwing. And stopping is Tino Martinez at third. 5 for 5 for Placido Polanco. What a day.
Nice going. 8 for 19 in the series. And there you see Dave McKay kind of trying to get a little smile out of him as he has hit the ball to both sides of the field. And 5 for 5. It's got to be a new career high for him.
Last time it was done by Vina against Arizona at Arizona. This is our Bud play of the game, delivering beer at its best with the crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers, Placido Polanco. 5 for 5 with 5 singles. Also 3 runs scored and an RBI.
2, 3, and 4 hitters. They've only made 2 outs today.
This guy's had a big ball game, and that's Pujols with a single, a double, and a 3-run home run.
10 for 12.
The last cycle was by John Mabry back in 1996 against Colorado. Mabry is playing now for Oakland and playing very well, hitting close to 400. He's at around 380, 385.
That, a lot of people said, you know, they gave away Jeremy Giambi to Philadelphia for a guy that was about to be released, but nobody told that to Mabry.
No.
He took it as an opportunity and has made the most of it. And we couldn't be happier for him.
2 balls and a strike on Albert Pujols. 2-2. Albert with his 21st home run this afternoon leads the club in that department. Also 65 RBIs. 65 by the All-Star break. Edmonds on deck. Cardinals have 16 hits today. That'll find the seats. Paul Quantrill in his 12th season in the majors. A 52 and 64 mark in his career with an ERA of 3.89. Was with the Blue Jays last year. Albert a check swing. He went around. That should be a strikeout of Albert Pujols. And it is.
Still only get 3, huh?
Apparently.
A little aggressive. And yeah, he does go around.
And here's Edmonds with 2 outs.
One for 1 in this game, then hit by a pitch.
I forgot that Omar Dahl had started. All right-handed lineup by Tony La Russa. Edmonds was on the bench. He looks at a strike from the right-hander, Quantrill.
Be playing behind Polanco at first base.
Oh, 0-2 the count on Edmonds. We talk so much about the tragedies in this organization, but the injuries as well, as we've seen a nice play by a fan. I mean, you think about Edmonds being out, J.D. Drew being out.
Same Dodger fans caught 2 balls today.
Edmonds strikes out, but it's been a huge day for the Cardinals and a huge day for Polanco. A 5-hit day. 5 singles on the afternoon for Placido. This portion of Cardinal baseball on WB11 is brought to you by your local St. Louis area Kia dealers. It's about time everyone had a well-made car. By Auto Tire, for the very best in tires and service, you want to go to Auto Tire. And by Subway, come in today and let Subway show you how good a fresh made sandwich can be. Subway, eat fresh. 33,000 plus here today at the ballpark. Glad to have you with us along the Cardinals television network in WB11. It's a 12-6 Cardinal lead as we move to the top of the 8th. This game is now 3 hours old. Began play, it was 95 degrees. Dave Beers will stay in the game. Tina Martinez stays in the game. He'll play first base. And Albert Pujols will move from first to left. Sean Green will be the hitter for the Dodgers. Green today is 2 for 3. He'll lead it off here in the 8th. Green and then Eric Karras on deck. Sean Green, an all-star for the Dodgers. 26 home runs, 68 RBIs. And it includes one today. Dodgers at one point actually led this game. The Cardinals jumped out to a 4-0 lead in the first with a 3-run home run and a solo home run. And the Dodgers got 3 in the second, 2 in the third, and led it 5-4. Time called. 1 ball, 1 strike on Green. Mention how he's a hometown hero. Sean Green, big in the Jewish community in Los Angeles. Played a number of years with the Blue Jays. 1-2. Very likable fellow.
There you had Sandy Koufax, who was such a big part of the LA community. So I think the demographics of Los Angeles have changed quite a bit since the 60s.
Slightly.
Why it was so important for them to find a Mexican star. They did so with Valenzuela. Then the influx of Orientals coming in, and Nomo, what he did.
Green draws a walk after falling behind with a count of 1-2. Beers lost him. Sean Green has been on base 4 times.
Well, not only Sean Green a dangerous hitter, but he's got that good batting eye, so he doesn't help these pitchers out.
He's got that great bat speed. You look at him and you say, how does a guy tall and slender like that hit 26 home runs? I mean, we're used to seeing McGuire do it, or a guy like Albert Pujols, but Sean Green, the way that he looks, 26 home runs. That could be 2. Cool ball to second. That's a double play. Almost came up on him. He stayed down long enough to make the play. And there's 2 outs.
You're right on Coolbaugh. Came up and the ball stayed right there, so he was able to field it. Surprise, surprise. And Karras really didn't run very hard. You know, a hot day like this, and you at the major league level, you think it's routine, and he helped make it routine by not hustling.
Here's Dave Hansen. Good pitch by Beers. Cardinals open up once again. We want to tell you Friday night against the Padres in San Diego.
See him right there. He sees him fielding it, and he's just chugging on down. But it would be the same effort if it was a 1-run game. Really shouldn't make a difference.
Hansen today is 2 for 4. 3 for 5 in the series. 2 balls and a strike.
Steve Klein warming up the Cardinals bullpen. Jesse Orozco was throwing for the Dodgers.
Tap foul will do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs, nobody on. Dodgers on the day, 11 hits. Cardinals have 16. Redbirds have used 5 pitchers today. A bullpen by committee start. Hackman made the start. Here's a 2-2. Line drive into right. Late break by Robinson. He can't make the play. Hansen will try for 2, and Carey's just got to get it in. Did not get a good jump.
Line drive right at you, and he froze, and the hesitation would allow the ball to get down in front of him for the double. Inside kind of jams him a little bit. He took a false step back and then tries to come in. For all intensive purposes, he slowed it up enough to where he kept it in front of him, or so to speak.
So Hansen at second extends the inning to Grissom, who's 2 for 4.
Well, both these ball clubs are going to end unofficial first half. It's not the midpoint of their seasons, but both in first place.
Surprised at all by the Dodgers?
Well, you got to be a little bit surprised because of the pitching injuries they've had. And I knew Jim Tracy, good manager, get that clubhouse under control, that they were going to be a factor. But I think, you know, the fact that they have won 54 ball games with very little contribution from Ashby, Dryford, and Kevin Brown, that speaks volumes. And then their pitching staff has more wins. Their starters have more wins than any team in baseball. And their bullpen, with Gagne being phenomenal. Yeah, there's surprises, but I knew that they'd probably be in the thick of it.
Kevin Brown expects to be back possibly by mid-August. Two and 2 the count on Grissom. Came up with Montreal back in 1989. Chops it towards Tina Martinez, and he has it. We'll move to the bottom of the 8th. Good work by Beers. Marrero, Renteria, and Kubaugh due up for St. Louis. Kurt Schlegel, a shot at him. It's a man that has been in the staff with the Cardinals for a long time. He works with the umpires and making sure that they're all right. He was out on the field checking with our home plate crew. Hunter Wendelstadt talking it over with Mike DeMuro. Our next televised game will be Cardinals and Padres, Friday 8:30 on Fox Sports Net. We hope you join us. Friday night from the West Coast.
You know, I talked to the umpires, you know, and Brad Henderson working these day games. He usually goes and talks to the day before the home plate umpire and advises them as to what they should be. There he is with that illegal camera again. What they should eat and drink before they work behind the plate. But he even told me, he even called the umpire's trainer after he had heard some of the medical condition that Kerwin Dantley had, and tried to say, well, why are we putting Dantley back behind the plate? And the umpire's trainer kind of like, well, there's nothing wrong. And, you know, sure enough, he went down.
Right.
But Brad was right on top of that, and it just didn't sound like that the umpire's trainer really took care of him.
What a story this guy is. Jesse Orozco, appearing for the 29th time, the 45-year-old left-hander.
Well, how about this is his 1,160th appearance during his 23rd Major League season.
Wow. He's still very effective. Eli flies to Sean Green for out number 1. Jesse Orozco and Joe McEwing part of a trade.
Yeah, remember, Jesse just wasn't healthy with us, but he's left-handed, got a heartbeat and a breaking ball.
Came up with the Mets back in 1981, or rather 1979.
79, yeah.
Next year he spent in the minor leagues, then came back up in 81, was with the Mets.
All-time pitching leader in games pitched. 4 decades, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000.
Two 2-0 on Renteria. Solo home run back in the first for Edgar. Also doubled. Orozco, a 23-year veteran of the major leagues. He's pitched for 6 different teams. 2 stints, by the way, with the Dodgers in '88 and last season. And he walks Edgar Renteria. That'll bring in Coolbaugh. His career best in the saves department was with the Mets in '84. He had 31. He pitched in a career high 71 games for Baltimore in 1997. How about this? Over his career, he has averaged over 8 strikeouts per 9 innings.
That is amazing for 23 seasons to do that.
Here's Coolbaugh, looks at a ball.
He still can be very nasty as a situational left-hander. Mike Matheny is on deck.
Good pitch there.
Breaking ball. Starts down the way to the right-hander. Keep it away to a left-hander.
Two balls and a strike. Coolbaugh today is 0 for 3. Mike Matheny has moved to the on-deck circle. Ground ball off Orozco. Great play there, but then thrown away.
Just watching Reveille, the second baseman. His pitch is being made. Everybody kind of on their heels, and then he kind of gets stepped in there, but off there. But he does a great job to readjust. And then his throw, his shovel pass is wide of his shortstop. So there's the error. And they don't get anybody, so 2 men on. They have not scored it yet. I don't know how it cannot be an error.
Manual scoreboard is given a hit to Coolbaugh, which would be the 17th hit by the Cardinals this afternoon.
That's a manual. We'll wait for the electronic.
All right, Al. Here's Mike Matheny, his first plate appearance of the afternoon. Gary Robinson on deck, 2 on. Orozco misses out and away.
Mike really struggling of late. 0 for his last 18. Average down to 216.
Took batting practice left-handed the other day here at the ballpark. Something that he flirted with during spring training. And he pops it up.
field fly rules called.
2 outs. And it's up to Kerry Robinson to extend the inning.
Well, I guess the official score is going to wait and see if there's a score to base it. I don't know how they do it, but there it is. So Coolbaugh has a batting average now. Guillermo Mota, a right-hander in the Dodger pen, working behind Orozco. So Mike Coolbaugh has his first hit of the day and of the season.
Steve Klein is throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. He's been up for a while. 2 on, 2 out. Gary's 0 for 1 today.
Ball wide, so he catches the ball in the glove and his helmet in his bare hand, or the mask.
Gary slaps it foul at the air show going on the riverfront here in downtown St. Louis and overhead.
Parachuter coming down. There.
Where's Rich Gould?
Rich is in that parachute.
Okay, just checking. It's 1 and 2 on Kerry Robinson.
Pretty good sized American flag.
Two and 2. Fans are enjoying it here at the ballpark.
I enjoyed this score, and Old Glory looks beautiful.
Initials DK on the back of the hat of Jesse Orozco. Let's go to the 9th. Is it Rich Gould? Al?
Absolutely.
Top of the 9th, Steve Klein will try to close this one out. Cardinals lead it by the score of 12-6. Mike Matheny will take over behind the plate. So is Eli officially done? Looks like he might be. He went from center field to right field, then to catcher, and now Mike Matheny will take over here in the 9th.
No, he's back in right.
Is he back in right?
Come on, you don't think Eli would be finished?
Not the way that he has played as of late. So he's back in right field after an inning behind the plate. New pitcher is Steve Klein. Picked up his 9th hold on Thursday night. His 5th in 7 games on this homestand. He has 23 strikeouts in his last 20 innings. First man they'll see is Alex Cora. And a strike from Steve.
Well,
Klein's starting to settle down, Al, to like what we saw pretty much the last year or two.
he had the rough outing yesterday. But, you know, you lose one game every year. I guess you can tolerate that. I know Steve hasn't been happy with the consistency of his breaking ball.
Here's the 0-2. Fly ball into center. There's Jim Edmonds, and there's out number 1. Right at the Budweiser sign. On a hot day, what a perfect sign. Here's the shortstop for the Dodgers. With 1 out, nobody on. Ground ball. Good play, Polanco. He got him. 2 outs. 5-hit day for Placido and a very nice defensive play here.
Absolutely. Looks like it's going to go up the middle. Remember how hot it is, but yet still got some game left, and an excellent play. Good stretch by Tino, but it's all this going into the outfield, reversing yourself, getting a little bit behind the throw, and nipping at the wild. Got a pitch hitter, Adrian Beltre.
Dodgers down to their final out. Beltre takes a ball from Steve Klein. Every
position player but Ross, their backup catcher, has been used by the Dodgers, and Tony's used every extra man except for Pena.
That's a base hit. Ball's in front of Kerry Robinson. 2-out hit by Beltre extends the game. Cardinals picked up 4 runs in the first, 5 in the fourth, 3 in the sixth, and lead at 12-6.
Steve is really trying to build on a 1-2-3 inning, finish this out. So not happy, but he can now retire Brian Jordan for the final out.
Ground ball. Polanco to his left. Dives, and why not? He should finish this game out. A 5-hit day and 2 stellar defensive plays to end it. So the Cardinals will head into the All-Star break up by 2 games in the NL Central. The Cardinals win it today by the score of 12-6. Back to wrap it up in a moment.
Hi, I'm Fox 18 Sports Director Jeremy Moss. Join me every Sunday night for professional golf of the Quad Cities Hole of the Week right here on Fox 18 9 o'clock news.
A special Monday presentation. Experience Smallville from the beginning.
Monday at 8 on WB26.
Bye-bye love. Bye-bye happiness.
With their golden harmonies, they brought brotherly love to the top of the charts. Now TV Music for You brings you 30 classic hits by the Everly Brothers.
Here he comes.
Here are the songs that put them in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wake up, Big Susie, wake up. Problems, problems, problems all day long. Dream.
2 brothers, 1 great sound.
Never knew what I missed till I kissed you. I bless the day I found you. You'll never know that I still love you so.
The best of the Everly Brothers on 2 CDs or 2 cassettes.
Walk right back.
Call toll-free to order the Everly Brothers. 2 CDs, $24.99, 2 cassettes, $19.99, plus shipping. Have your credit card ready and call now.
I don't have a problem with the pattern draw. I just appreciate a little heads up. You know, what's the problem? Sure.
Cardinal baseball on WB11 was brought to you by Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with the crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. By Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with lower fares. By your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on WB11. And by Dobbs Tire and Auto Center, St. Louis's #1 choice for tires and automotive service. An emotional first half comes to a close here today. The Cardinals win it by the score of 12-6, and we'll wrap it up in just a moment.
Ken Bellman talks about today's conversion van.
Today, it's a luxury traveling family vehicle. You can travel in luxury and comfort. You've got 2 TVs now, 2 VCPs, DVD. It's just everything that you could possibly want in a vehicle. The selection of vans is the best selection you're going to find anywhere in the world. I think also our 29-minute delivery. We will actually get that unit ready for you in 29 minutes, and you can take it home with you.
Bellman, it's where everyone buys.
The Earl of Sandwich was the undisputed ruler of the sandwich world.
I give you peanut butter and banana. Bologna. Club sandwich.
Why is there bread in the middle?
Silence! Why is there bread in the middle? I'm going to lose the middle bread, add a tender spicy chicken breast, and call it Jack's Spicy Chicken Club.
Hey, the middle bread's missing.
Silence!
I take batting practice. I take infield practice. I take Viagra.
Ready to try Viagra for the first time? Ask your doctor if a free sample's right for you and visit Viagra.com for more information.
Step up to the plate and make an appointment to see your doctor.
Alen Hurley owns a Hyundai Elantra.
I researched it on the internet. There was no comparison.
The competition can't match the Freedom of America's best warranty.
The warranty for the Elantra was the best out there.
It also has a long list of features, including front and side airbags. It's the only car in its class that has them standard.
The gas mileage is excellent. It's a great value for the money.
The Hyundai Elantra, at just $13,044, it's a solid value. Get $750 cash back or choose 0.9% APR financing now.
3.5 hours and the Cardinals win it over the LA Dodgers by the score of 12-6 as the All-Star break is here and the Cardinals finish up the first half 2 games in front in the National League Central Division in front of Cincinnati. So 12-6 the final. Our next telecast will be Friday night 8:30 on Fox Sports Net from the West Coast. Mike Matthews the winner. He's 2-0. Omar Dahl took the loss. He's 7-4 and we will talk to you Friday night from San Diego.